their uptick in performance, actually. Oh, it looks like stream just went down. Hopefully we're back now.
We should be back.
Hold tight.
Fuma completing the roster. Yeah, we've got Ro, Lifeline, Skydiver, and Fuma for Indonesia. Milk Tea, Angel, Miku, Crystal, and David Ku2 for China. We'll get straight into it. No mod 1.
No mod modification 1. Yeah, welcome back, everyone. Things happen, but I think we're back now. The client got a fat restart, but everything should be
fine. We had Skydiver taking a restart or taking a timeout because he needed to download the map. So he didn't miss anything. We're right back to it. In good fashion too. An early miss from David Ku2.
David calling GG already. Nah, man. Not even close to over yet. Although, actually, looking at those early minutes,
it's dear.
A scary start from China.
They stumble out of the gates.
An early miss from Pistol, though, is worrying for China, like you said.
It is pretty early. It doesn't really have much bearing on how the rest of the map goes. We did see Indonesia take a big comeback, but Milk Tea, no FCs now for China. David Ku2 with the highest combo. Although Skydiver with a drop. It's not going to mean too much. He's still got 3 FCs for his team. Boomer and Miku trade their combos, so favourable for China, but Milk Tea follows up with a miss of his own. David Ku and Lifeline.
Now.
Yeah.
Still good though for Indonesia as we get to the slightly easier verse. Ro doing the job for his team, as he has been doing for a lot of this game so far.
Yeah, you're going to be hearing me talk about trading combos. It means if one player from each team misses at the same time, any lead, any scoreline difference will be reset between those 2 players, so there's not going to be any difference between their combos. They'll be gaining the same amount of score from that point onwards. No trade for that one though. Miku drops. Getting to another chorus. Finding a little bit of trouble with these jumps. Skydiver.
There goes Crystal.
As does Crystal.
And that's a big combo for China gone. We're past halfway, we're into the last third. And Ro still sitting there with his FC. Now it's looking really good for Indonesia. Here comes the solo though. If they combo this, it's gonna be over. See if anyone can get it. Okay,
everyone holding through that. Large advantage though to Indonesia. They've got 2 600 combos and a 300. Whereas there's a big jumble of combos on China's side. Crystal drops his. But they lead into the last chorus, catches him.
It turns out, yeah, this turned out to be a great pick for Indonesia. Never mind, China's no mod 1 woes will continue here. Nice recovery, actually, from the members of both teams, but you got to hand it to Ro. Really hauling his team through this one. Locking him with accuracy as well.
Not letting any of the slip-ups on the past few maps bother him. He knows his strengths, he plays to them. Oh, he finds a miss on the last jump section. But it won't matter, that's basically an FC. You can't tell me that's not an FC.
That's what we say. We'll give him that one. We give him that.
977,000 points. Doing a lot of the work by himself, but the rest of his team just there for backup.
That was the final pick for Indonesia.
Yeah, that'll be match point to them. But of course, it's match point in a best of 3, so it doesn't mean too much. China now, if they win their pick, they take it to tiebreaker. There's a little bit of pressure on them.
I think more than a little bit, to be honest with you. The tournament lives are on the line here. This is do or die for China. 2 hard rocks left, 2 free mods open. 2 no mod, there's 1 no mod open. Just Hemizor's tech map open in the no mod pool. They also have a tech map in no mod. And they were going for quite a bit of those more techie maps in the early game. They dropped 1 and then they didn't go for them again. They dropped that hit 3 and then changed the tactic.
No, I would disagree with that. I'd say No Mod 3 was a good pick for them. Or was that Indonesia's pick?
No, they did pick that. You're right. They did pick No Mod 3. You're right. That was a good pick for them as well, yeah. And they are going for more tech, so... yeah. If it ain't broke, I suppose. Yeah, No Mod 3 went very well.
Yeah, no, that was Indonesia's pick, I think. I'm really confused. I'm sorry.
They won it, I know that much. They won it.
They did win it.
So this is a pretty sensible choice for a final pick, I feel.
Yeah, I'd say so. Real lazy mapping. I think the first... is it the first? I'm not sure, but... Ubiquitous. Absolute belter. 3 minutes 21. 6.2 stars. But star rating on a map like this, you really kind of just ignore it. It's going to be a lot more difficult than that would suggest. It's OD9 too. 191 BPM to cap it all off. What can you tell me about this map?
Yeah, this is a map with very distinctive sections of techie patterns. There's one at the start, middle, and the end, broken up by easier parts. The start and the middle are definitely the hardest parts of this and the ones to watch. The ending patterns are kind of tricky, but no doubt the start and the middle are where most of the breaks are going to happen. I feel like this game's going to be decided. Very different patterns in each of those.
Very interesting too. This is a very almost eerie mirror to the last match. You remember how our match went, Doomsday, right?
I did.
They took a break point early. We took a breakpoint back, and then for our last pick, we picked No Mod 4.
And we know how that one went. So let's see if it's a mirror. Or let's see if China can bank this one. The tournament lives are on the line here. Match point for Indonesia. If they win, they go on to the next round. And they play again this weekend, tomorrow, I believe. Last chance saloon here for China. They have to win this point to take it to tiebreaker.
Not going to quite be a mirror of the last match. Lifeline is down already, not in the NFC for him. But the combos are falling. Burger Fox drops, David Q drops. Lifeline misses again, but the advantage is on Indonesia's side. Milk Tea's dropped his FC, and it's just Crystal yet again. Has to put the team on his back now. Rexy's Skydiver combo through that row. Holds a 300. It's one of the slower sections that you were talking about. Everyone gets to let some of those nerves go, shake them out. We're about to get into a bigger drop yet again. It's going to be really important. It's going to be absolutely vital to hold all of the combo you can. Grab everything from the slower section and row finds a miss. There will be a slight advantage now to China with 4 combos instead of 3.
Still looking good though for Indonesia. They're still in a good spot, but not too much. Here comes the next middle section, another hard part here.
Yeah, we're seeing space doubles, we're seeing space triples. Milk Tea tries to miss, but mirrored by Skydiver. Roan, Burger Fox both drop. Rix's as well. Now Indonesia are on the back foot. China are going to be extending that lead. Crystal comboing greatly through this, as a David Koo. Lifeline trying to hold it for his team, but Ro finding another miss. They're making it difficult for him. Yet again on No Mod 4, Lifeline, the last bastion. The last line of defense for Indonesia, keeping his team in it. If China find a big collapse, he will swoop in and steal it, but we're halfway through.
Yeah, the harder parts are done now. There are trickier parts to go. The very ending is a nasty section. By then, it's going to be decided. It's on Lifeline against David and Crystal.
Are we going to see David throw just so it doesn't go to tiebreaker? No.
I'm kidding.
I'm kidding.
He won't. He's too good for that.
Here comes another drop. Not quite as mechanically intensive as the last one. Loads of sliders. Got to be following them, but be careful. If you follow them to the end, you want to be able to move from the end of the slider to the next circle accurately.
No chokes on this ending tough section. Everyone hitting them. It might be too little too late here for Indonesia. And looks like the only again.
They're all holding combos. It could happen. It feels like there's going to be one more drop to me, but this might just be the ending. Might just be a comfortable section to cap off the map. It is. You find a little drop, but only the sliders that we saw in the intro. And Crystal, despite an early leave from China, it will be tiebreaker. It's locking an FC out of a Crystal. How incredible has he been playing this match?
He has been so good. Incredible performance from Crystal. It's just insane. He has been the linchpin for China. David Koo as well with an excellent run, almost 99% early slider break. But my gosh, you got to hand it to Crystal. He has had, I don't want to say the game of his life, he's had many games of his life, but this is to put
he's
up
he's used to this sort of pressure. He's used to this sort of role in his team where he just throws everyone in a backpack and runs with them.
It is time. Tiebreaker time. Indonesia have been here before. Hopefully this time, well, they'll be hoping for sure that this goes better. Here comes that eternal dream. The eternal dream for either of these teams. Could be extinguished if they drop it here.
We're looking at two incredible teams. They have played so hard for this. It's 6.9 stars this tiebreaker, so it's a mirror star rating to No Mod 1. A lot longer though, it's 6 minutes. 6 BPM higher too. Relatively consistent with No Mod 1, but of course it's a tiebreaker. One would assume it's not that straightforward.
No, this map isn't like the last couple of tiebreakers where they've been more standard in terms of feel, focused on mechanics. This one certainly does have a mechanics focus, but this is a collab between Kite and Idki. And if anyone here, I mean, I'm sure everyone in this room's played Uta before. The aim style where it's kind of comfortable, but it has those weird angles and the little anti-jumps, little spacing, little variants that makes it slightly less than completely comfortable. That's kind of what this one is. Little angles can throw you off in a situation like this, in terms of consistency. So I imagine we'll be seeing similar lineups to No Mod 1, because it's not really far from that tree. Who's feeling brave? The players are in relatively quickly.
Who's feeling confident? Who doesn't have that adrenaline flowing through them yet? Or maybe who does have that adrenaline? Sit in for a tiebreaker, the map starts and an eerie calm drops. When that happens, you know you're going to play well.
So looking to compare the lineups to No Mod 1. On Indonesia's side, we are seeing one swap from that No Mod 1. Fuma has been swapped in here for Rexy's. He'll be accompanying his teammates Skydiver, Lifeline and Ro. On the Chinese side though, we are looking at a swap. Milk Tea played the last No Mod 1, but Emetexi Extreme comes in for this one. Combined with the rest of the lineup of David Kutu, Crystal and My Angel Miku.
It's tiebreaker time. Remember, this is a loser's bracket match. Whoever wins this advances in the tournament. Whoever loses goes home. Either team, you want to bring out your best.
Consistent difficulty throughout this one. Minor little slow parts in between, but nothing much. Also, the solo about 3/4 in, very streamy. Watch out for those.
Early miss from Extreme. It's 6 minutes long. Lots of combo to get in this one. We do see my Angel Miku taking hidden. So, doesn't apply anymore, but if all 4 players had FCE, just by virtue of having the hidden, would be theirs to take. Lifeline finds a miss. That weird-shaped stream pattern. Skydiver and Extreme trade, and that is favorable for China. Skydiver drops his FC. Rexy's had found an early miss.
Covering nicely, though. With the amount of combo on this map, that's going to be negligible, I think. That said, though, very good start here from China in the opening exchanges. Ro did so well on that No Mod 1 with that near FC. Has the highest combo for his team in the early game.
Extreme and Miku both drop. So that will reset their combos back to 0. Whereas on the other side, there's a 300 for Lifeliner and a 200 for the Skydiver, so they're going to be pulling the lead slowly but surely back to themselves. You can see how low the scores are, considering it's already been a minute or two of the map. Miku finds another miss, as does Extreme. The lead flickers to Indonesia. You can really tell how long this map is, how much time there is for things to happen. Lifeline finds his own miss, drops the combo. Skydiver, though, the difference. Really making a difference, his presence with the 400 combo, but Ro finds a miss. And just Rixie's, no FCs, both FCs are down.
They're all
from China.
Just Skydive with 500. We're not halfway yet. This thing is not over. But in this slow part,
a difference of about 100 combo is absolutely nothing in a map like this, but the difference is growing by the second. Rixie finds another miss. Skydiver trying his best. He's got 600 combo, and it could come down to him if everything falls apart for China, but they're looking pretty strong in this bridge section between two choruses.
Accuracy from Skydiver. Was it really a 1/101 miss so far for him?
Very much could have been. Combos are slowly coming back for Indonesia. They are still in this. It's only 100,000 points. I mean, I can't stress that enough. And David Q drops his FC. Skydiver drops the big combo, however.
Crystal with the only FC in the room right now. Really going to be doing bits for his team, but he's not getting very far because of the recoveries from Indonesia. Halfway now.
Ro finding a miss. Only 2 combos left. Lifeline and Rexy's. If they combo reset again, this might just be over. There might be nothing they can do.
Here comes the solo, though. Streamy solo. And there goes Crystal immediately. FC is down. Mind Miku recovering.
And it will be Miku and Lifeline. No, Miku down. Lifeline down. Skydiver with 300 combo through this solo. He is there for his team, but he's got a lot of score to make up, and I don't think that he can do it in the time provided. Lifeline Rexy's fine misses, trade with Miku.
1500k. That's not a lot, you know. Sorry, 150k, sorry. That's not too much. We have a third of the map to go. If people keep combo resetting, still time here, but they need more breaks. More breaks from China, and Indonesia are back in this, you feel?
Yeah, they need more breaks from China. They need more combos from Indonesia. Extreme drops his. They need to have an advantage on every player on their team for them to bring this back. David Ku, Miku reset their combos. They have advantage.
They're breaking so much. Now, Indonesia really are back in this, you know. 100k lead, and it's dwindling.
It is closing. There is absolutely no time. China almost have to keep breaking for it to be a safe point. A safe win for Indonesia. You look and see the score's less than 100k. Miku finds another miss. Resets his combo, and everyone has to combo through the outro here. Miku another drop. He's put his score on the board. There's not much more he can do. Ro finds a miss. Resets with Crystal. 300 combos on MTXC, 200 on David Koo, and the lead is closing. David Koo misses. No more points for him. And the lead is closing 50k, 40k. It's closing so quickly. Skydiver pulling it. The rest of the team pulling it. All their might, they're digging their heels in. They don't want to go home. They don't want to go home yet. They want to carry on. And it's looking like they'll carry on. They take the lead. Skydiver drops his FC though. It's not going to matter. He's done his job. Everyone else matching MTXC who misses in the outro. And it will be Indonesia who take this.
Wow. Oh my gosh. That was Herculean. What did I just watch, Bubble? Indonesia. Oh my goodness. Rexy's Skydiver Lifeline. Hauling with all their might. Super strength. Pulling that lead back from Oblivion.
They absolutely did not want to go home. An almighty effort. Everyone on that team. In fact, it might have even just come down to accuracy. Skydiver holding 99 might have sealed that for them.
I think it might have done. That score lead was so small. And on Score V2, the accuracy difference between a 99 and a 98 is pretty large. That could have come down to it. Every little bit they did just to stay in the tournament. And they are in the tournament because Indonesia carry on their best ever OWC performance into another game. They march on.
Incredible style too to take that. Crystal for the Chinese side. We have to shout that out. The MVP of the match. He FC'd 3-4 maps. He one miss choked, maybe another 2.
It was actually ridiculous. Like Crystal, when this team needs him most in the OWC, he always does it. Usually in the early game, but this is a nasty pool, and he performed so well. Also, shout outs to David Koo as well, who had a good match as well.
He had a brilliant match. Crystal playing far and away the best in the match, though. However, of course, this is the World Cup. 8-player teams, 4v4. And Crystal, David Koo, they're only 2 players. Doesn't make a team, and of course, it's the team performance that pulls through for Indonesia, takes them into the next round. Top 8.
C20, by the way. Seeding means nothing this tournament.
Absolutely.
Indonesia are throwing the rulebook out.
Absolutely.
But
that
guess
was
what?
An absolute joy to watch. Go ahead.
Oh my goodness, it was. But guess what? Indonesia now have a showdown against Australia to look forward to tomorrow. And that is going to be something. Indonesia take on Australia for a chance to go even further, but that is going to be a colossal matchup. Looking forward to seeing that one.
I can't wait. The way the team had played, it's gonna be a wall to climb. If they want to get over Australia, it's going to be a Herculean effort from everyone. Australia played so well in their match against Russia.
Anyways, I think we should swiftly move on and also introduce the next casters for the next match, because that match was such a long one. South Korea and Russia started a bit earlier. We are going to be switching to those once the client is ready. Of course, the streamer can get that sorted whenever it's ready, but I believe it's not quite ready yet. But we will be switching over as soon as we can.
We can introduce our casters now, though. Of course, this next match. You said South Korea. Oh no, sorry, it was Australia versus Hong Kong. My bad. South Korea, Russian Federation.
they're currently playing right now. It's currently South Korea 3 and the Russian Federation 1 in their game. So at the moment, South Korea with a good start for them. We're switching over to that as soon as we can. Hold tight. Oh, looks like we have the next casters in.
Good
Two cool
morning.
dudes.
We get
Good
to hand
morning.
off.
Oh, Lord. What a match.
How did you enjoy that one, Ed? Chilia?
Dude, I couldn't believe it. I could have sworn that China had the bag, but then Skydiver went level 3 backpack mode and literally just like ascended to the 5th dimension. Oh my Lord, dude. Flipping the score in Indonesia's favor? Come on, man. This is insane. Actually insane.
It really is a fairy tale performance by Indonesia, I think, this World Cup. 20th seed, and they're in top 8 now.
Holy Lord. Yeah, it's crazy, dude. All right. That was an insane match. Absolutely insane. Well played, Indonesia.
Oh, just
Unfortunate
in time,
China.
Dooms, as well.
Oh, let's go. Anyways, I'll leave you guys to it. I'm just going to chill and lurk and enjoy the zone. You guys have a good cast, man.
Sounds good, dudes. Have a good one, man. Bubble.
Thank you.
Peace out, brother.
Peace, guys. Absolute joy. Good. Have fun.
Hey, thanks. All right. Hello, nation. Welcome back. We are now going to be commentating South Korea versus Russia. I am BTMT. I'm joined here with my co-commentator, Chillier Pair. What's poppin', dude?
We're back. What's poppin', man? That was a tiebreaker of the day right there.
Dude, that entire match was just an entire swing of emotions, dude. It really looked like China, Indonesia had the lead, and then China was coming back, bringing it all the way to tiebreaker. Holy Lord, dude. It's insane. Actually insane.
Dude, China had crystal mode, Indonesia had skydiver mode, the backing combos, everything going back and forth. China winning like 5 consecutive points in a row. What the heck was happening
Dude,
in that last match?
I don't know, but all I'm trying to say is that match was absolutely beautiful. This is what OWC is about. These close matches, these fights to the death. That's what this is. That's literally what this is. That's insane.
What we need. Oh, we need it. I need to see it again right now. South Korea versus Russia, 3-1 already. They had to get started while China and Indonesia had their little bit of a fist fight in the match before, and now we get to see if Russia can scrape this back against defending second place team.
That's right. It seems like, all right, because the match was taking on so long, South Korea and Russia will have to start their match, and they're already 4 maps in. In that time, it seems like South Korea has the initial lead here, up by 2 points now. But if Russia can bring this back, things might not be too bad for them. But if they do lose this pick, things are going to look really, they're going to be in a really sticky situation. I'll tell you that, dude.
Will be grim for them. This is South Korea's pick. The last pick was Russia's. They lost that map by 611,000 points, giving South Korea a massive lead. And they're going to look to capitalize on that with 2 early breaks from Akinatori and Karuna.
That's not looking good for them. I'll tell you that. South Korea still having the initial lead, but this is a really slow map in terms of both approach rate and just overall BPM. There's like a couple of things that you might slip up on if you misread them, but overall, it's pretty consistent in difficulty. It's just reading, it's the density, and it's just, if you opt for Hard Rock, just the raw aim in the corners and the edges of the map. That's what really gets you.
Yeah, big density is going to get a lot of these players, especially the hidden on Akinatori and Neil Toru. You can see Akinatori struggling a little bit on this, but Red Pixel on the Nomad has found a break himself. We're almost halfway into the map. We're going to get to that big choke point. Any break at that halfway point is the traditional 650,000 cap score for them. And South Korea looking ridiculously strong in the middle here. What are we thinking for players that are going to hold FCs here? I don't know where to go with this.
I don't know. For South Korea, with all of those FCs, literally 3 FCs on the board right now, things are looking really good for them. And I just can't. I'm struggling to comprehend how Russia is going to come back from this. Having a lead this early in the match is not good for them. Or having a deficit this early in the match is not good for them. South Korea leading now, what could potentially be 3 points this early, is insane. Absolutely insane. Basically, the complete opposite of what we were seeing in the last match.
Massive. Elementary and Talala both break. That is the only FCs left on Russia. Gone now. And Akinatori is going to try and hold this in with the hidden, but it's 4 FCs almost Karuna on the Hard Rock, barely behind. Every single player on South Korea is going at it right now.
Just look at this lead. It's absolutely massive. 500,000 points and counting.
They're scraping every single ounce of score out that they possibly can. Red Pixel's having a really tough time on this map with the Nomad. Definitely not something you normally see him playing. The AR 8.3 is not the Red Pixel specific style here, but he's doing his thing. Nope, KJK does find a break for South Korea, so there is a little bit of wiggle room there, but it is... Oh, but there goes the Toro, hold on.
Lots of accuracy as well, but it's not enough. The lead of South Korea is just constantly growing bigger and bigger.
This is massive difference here. Karuna and Flying Tuna making it work right now, even with 2 breaks from their teammates, but all of Russia is really struggling right now. Highest score on Okinatori going to be surpassed by Talala soon.
Oh yeah, dude. Flying Tuna still with the full combo. Karuna with the backup combo as well, and no FCs on the Russia side. That's going to give the 4th point to South Korea. This is such a massive skew compared to what we saw in the last match, and this is losers bracket as well. One of these teams are going to get eliminated here, and it's not looking good for Russia.
This is huge. Losers bracket right here. Russia made it all the way to the finals last year in 2019, only to get knocked out by South Korea in the finals. So that's something to note. That's something to note. We also have to note South Korea is at that 4-1 point here. In the last match, China versus Indonesia, 4-1 is when China started to crawl back into the match. So Russia's got their opportunity here. And I'm gonna kind of laugh if they pick a DT and then drop it back to Russia, because that is exactly what happened again. It's gonna happen.
We might see history repeat itself.
Oh, that would be fun. Oh, they do pick crossover though, so that was picked in the last match. We just saw it.
Russia now in the driver's seat. Opts for Hard Rock 2, the small circle size map. Very precise aim that you're looking for.
We just saw it on the previous match, the Hard Rock 2. China was able to clinch this out on a lot of backing combo from players like David Q on their team. We have a lot of decent Hard Rock players in here, and Russia has been looking really good on the precision picks thus far in the tournament, and I'm sure it's going to be no different in semifinals. They have a lot of players that don't really get skill capped yet, which is really good about both of these teams here. There's not many that are going to struggle dropping the difficulty up, dropping it, throwing it. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. South Korea is going to try to throw together a roster to beat a very strong Russia.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with the whole scaling stuff. All right, both of these teams in their own ways are absolute powerhouses. All right, Russia and South Korea, they both have extremely star players. On Russia's side, we have Talala, Red Pixel. All right, South Korea, Flying Tuna. It's insane. All right, absolutely insane. Both of these teams are going to do perfectly well in terms of scaling. But what it really comes down to is which team can really clench their own specific skill sets, very specific ones. Russia's opting for precision. We'll see how it works out for them. Obviously, South Korea, they're going to have a lineup for this. They're not going to let Russia get away with this.
Nobody can let Russia get away with taking a Hard Rock pick and get out of it unscathed. South Korea needs to be on their game for this. And we saw the underdog teams do sometimes take a lot of big score difference on this map here. We've seen Talala and Mr. Future kind of go at it for Hard Rock, but we've also seen Ponytail look really good this year. Flying Tune has been playing well today, and Karuna has just absolutely beasted this tournament like Karuna does.
An absolute beast.
Yeah, really. He's going for it. Ponytail with an early combo deficit, breaking on a slider somewhere, but it's looking good for Russia right now on the accuracy. That is all around.
And accuracy is something that's usually going to stay consistent throughout this map in particular. It's fairly short, I would argue, all right? And there's not really too many big places to drop accuracy except for a couple of bursts. So this accuracy benefit is definitely going to, hopefully, we'll say, all right, take them leagues. But we do see a break from Talala on the Russian side. All right, that's going to be matched by Ponytail back on South Korea. So far, still pretty even.
Yeah, this is even. This is really big, actually. Mr. Future and Karcher breaking. These are really early breaks for this map. We're not really into the difficult section yet. There's some big 1/3s into the middle that you can really find breaks on right before the ending. They're past the halfway point, though. So this is going to stay pretty even. Mr. Future breaks again. It's 2 FCs to 2 right now. But Red Pixel breaks, and Ponytail I can't speak anymore. Karuna and Flying Tuna both have seeing still.
Yeah, that break on Red Pixel was absolutely massive. And now the lead is just, whoa, what's going on here? Big breaks all around. Karuna and Karcher.
This is down to Elementary and Flying Tuna, and Elementary has the accuracy lead. He also has backing combo on Talala and Red Pixel right now. It's just Ponytail backing up Flying Tuna right now. It's going to be so close. There's a quarter, then Elementary breaks!
Oh my lord. That was a big combo that Russia needed. Flying Tuna
that
still
was
holding
Russia.
on.
Elementary was all of Russia right there. It's just Flying Tuna left in the match right now. He's going to crawl back slowly. You can see the score lead going back. There's less than a quarter of the map to go.
And the slow touch is over. Right getting into it. The Flying
Tuna
Tuna breaks.
That's it.
And all of a sudden, Russia, their lead is growing bigger and bigger.
Talala found a broke, but Mr. Future breaks as well. There's more combo, and Red Pixel breaks the only combo, and Russia's gone. It's going to go back to South Korea in the ending.
What
There's
is
back
this
in combo.
map? What is this? The score is just flipping back and forth.
How does that happen? How does the score go back and forth so many times?
Dude, there were breaks literally everywhere. Every single person was struggling on this map.
Highest score in the lobby, 779k on Flying Tuna. Only closest was Elementary at 720k, and it was just a big mosh pit fight between everybody else in the match for that last single bit of score, and the final 40,000 score being clawed out by South Korea in the ending.
I was on the edge of my seat. I honestly couldn't tell where it was going. It really looked like Russia had it secured, but then all the breaks happened on Red Pixel and Talala, and all of a sudden it started flipping and ended up on South Korea's side. Dude, we've just suddenly found South Korea on match point. What?
I can't even begin to fathom how ridiculously close that map was. We've seen so many maps in this match here that have had minute score differences all around, and with that being no exception, you have to wonder if either of these teams are underperforming maybe just a little bit from what they want from this match here today. South Korea has been able to clinch it out, but for a team as high performing as they are, maybe not looking amazing in terms of score difference against someone like Russia, who definitely starts to drop off a little bit once you hit semifinals and finals in terms of scaling compared to a lot of these other teams. South Korea is looking really good right now, but Russia's making a run for this, and the ult map here is going to be their last opportunity.
Yep, that's basically it. I mean, if Russia really wants a chance of bringing this back, they need to win this point. Otherwise, it's over for them. Not just for this match, but for their entire 2020 OWC run completely. That's it. They are completely against the wall.
So this is the final opportunity for Russia to keep themselves in this match. This is South Korea's pick. They do need to be very careful on the ulting map here. Generally, South Korea is very confident on something like this. We've seen Zayson and Flying Tuna do exactly what they need to here. We're going to get into the final map. 3 minutes and 8 seconds, 165 BPM, awkward, big spacing pattern alt map. Can Russia keep themselves in this, or is South Korea going to bring it home early?
I don't know, man. All right, with South Korea's pick, I'm fairly sure that they're going to be ready for this map. Meanwhile, on Russia's side, we can only hope that they have what it takes to continue playing and survive. The South Korean onslaught is just insane. They're showing their power here in this match. And we could see history repeat itself.
We have a big early score lead here. Russia's going to take it a little here. Flying Tuna and Zayson found some very uncharacteristic breaks at the beginning. Gasha is a little bit down on combo, and so is Red Pixel, but it's about 100 difference, and there goes Okinatori and Red Pixel. So early breaks from Russia. South Korea is going to be able to bring that score lead back even with those early breaks.
Still, that was just the intro for the map. We're finally getting into the meat and bones of this map, where we see many of these courses littered throughout it. I believe 3 of them, actually. So what you really want to pay attention to is just whether or not we see any sort of inconsistencies or breaks in these sections, because this isn't the only time that players are going to have to deal with this.
So Ponytail does find a break, though, so that's going to give Russia a little bit more of a chance to stay in this map here, but they do have to deal with Karuna and Flying Tuna right now. But there goes Karuna again, so there's more opportunity here. Almost halfway through the map, and any breaks here are going to be detrimental to the final score. We actually have 0 FCs left already.
Elementary and Gasha did break early on in that chorus, but Okinatori and Red Pixel still holding on.
We have
Flying Tuna with the biggest combo in the match.
Ooh, there's 3 big combo breaks. Red Pixel, Karuna, and Elementary all dropping here. It's just on Flying Tuna right now. He's got a massive backing combo on Zason. Ponytail is starting to build up a combo again, but he's traditionally found to break after he starts to build up one. It's all on Okinatori and Gasha and what they do, and there goes Gasha.
Gasha's gone! Okinatori is now the only lasting combo on Russia with no supporting combos. Meanwhile, Flying Tuna is just running away with this. Supporting combos from Zyson and even... Ponytail is gone as well. But dude, there's only a quarter of the map left.
There is so little time, and with just under 200,000, it's gonna I can't. What is happening today? Elementary Red Pixel.
Break on Russia. That basically seals it, dude. All right, with a combo like Flying Tuna on this, there's no way. Russia's gone.
This is it right here. Flying Tuna and Zason with almost 1,000 combo each, and there goes Okinatori, the only combo on Russia. Flying Tuna is gonna bring this one home for his country here. 400,000. And climbing, and this match has been insane for the picks that we've seen. This has been a massive back and forth, even if it has been less than optimal for Russia here. And they're going to get knocked out a round earlier than last year, unfortunately, going up against some really hard teams here.
Oh my lord.
It is. That's it.
Every single map that we saw went to South Korea. The only point that Russia managed to scrape against South Korea wasn't even shown.
Unfortunately, the hidden pick was not the one that we got to see for Russia to take their point. But Russia, they put forward a very, very valiant effort in the tournament this year, especially going up against some very hard matches last weekend. They clinched it out against Poland 6-2 in a very dominant performance. Unfortunately, going up against the reigning second place champions here is definitely not something that you can expect to win easily if you're not on the top of your game. And unfortunately for Russia, South Korea was looking very solid today.
Oh yeah, South Korea was literally just dominating this match. They were not letting up. There was that one map that was extremely close, Hard Rock 2. All right, we honestly couldn't tell which way it was going to go. But at the end, South Korea just took it and ran.
I can't even believe it. That was a crazy finish to that match there, and South Korea is going to get their opportunity to go to the finals now after they play against the winner of Brazil-Taiwan, which which follows this match. So they're going to try and get to a similar placement of last year, but they have to go through that winner first. That is going to be in 42 minutes from now. Brazil versus Taiwan. That's another match to look out for. We have all of the rest of the matches listed on screen now. Canada versus Japan, and then the match that I think a lot of people have been waiting for, United States versus Germany at 19 UTC. So three more. That's the big one.
USA versus Germany, I'm sure, yes, like you said, a lot of people are going to be looking forward to this one. All right, it's going to be the match of the century. Who knows how it's going to go? All right, obviously, with me being on the USA team, I have a little bit of a bias. All right, but I'm sure lots of people are looking forward to see two reigning champions right now in terms of rankings, Vaxa and Whitecat, duking it out in the tournament setting, an official tournament setting as well. It's going to be awesome, dude.
Gonna be a crazy match. Keep a lookout for Canada, Japan too. Japan made massive improvements to their roster this year, and with a second-seeded Canada looking very strong, barely winning against Taiwan last weekend in that tiebreaker to keep themselves in the winner's bracket. The question is which one of those two teams is going to be able to keep themselves there into the finals. Will Canada make it? Will they live up to their second place seeding? Same thing with the United States, reigning champions still. Gonna look to maybe close out against Germany, or maybe Germany gonna try and make a change to things this year. Brazil-Taiwan's gonna be the close one. Both of these teams looking strong. Taiwan had a massive performance last week. Brazil had a very difficult match against the United States, but still were able to take 2 points, looking solid. So a lot of good matches left for today, but that has been it for Korea versus Russia. Once again, congratulations to Korea, Indonesia, and Australia, the respective winners this morning. Make sure you all check out your pick'ems. Make sure those are filled out, making sure everything's looking pretty good for the afternoon and tomorrow's potential matches. And I think we're gonna take our leave for the 40 minutes, and we'll be good. Thank you to Ed for joining me today. It's been a pleasure.
Pleasure being here.
Fantastic. Anything you have to close us out today?
I'm basically done. We're all good, dude. I need to start prepping for my own match.
Big one. 5 hours from now. Everyone keep a lookout. Stay tuned for Brazil versus Taiwan, Canada, Japan, USA versus Germany. 3 more matches on the day. We'll be right back with you in about 40 minutes. Thank you.
Sayonara.
to throw it all on the line, throw it all on black, jump into the Captain 1 tiebreaker.
Everybody wants to see that tiebreaker.
Yeah, but I'm saying that if we get into that, it looks pretty even. I think Germany might have a bit of an edge. I mean, they've got Canali as a number 1. The number 1 player on the leaderboard is Canali with a hidden FC. So we'll have
Germany
to see what happens.
Probably feel pretty good about that.
I think if they can get to the tiebreaker, their spirits will be pretty high, and then Romania will be the one on the hot seat with
this is very
Nice,
crucial for Romania.
Yeah, it comes down to this map. It's all about. I'm not. Oh, okay, I was gonna say the map name, but you know what? I'm not.
Yeah,
Mod 5.
it's no Mod 5. We're trying to 3 and go to finals week for the first time ever. Who is it gonna be? Dead even at the start, Toy.
I think this one might come down to accuracy. If not, like, because they all FC, I'm not saying that's gonna happen, but like some of the score gap might just be from accuracy. And, you know, it's a bit surprising Badu is out there with 95% accuracy. You know, stream's not exactly his specialty, but he's still fighting.
Yeah, he's definitely giving it his all, and actually Romania's still hanging in there despite that. His teammate's doing a great job keeping the accuracy up. But you know, sometimes you gotta love this move by Badu though, because sometimes as a captain you just gotta step up big as the ace and play when your team needs you, despite the fact that it might not be your best skill set.
Yeah, and who better to put your confidence in than Badu, who's shown up so strong this entire match, and every match beforehand.
This entire tournament.
Yeah, really. I think an early miss from Canali has thrown it into Romania's favor really early.
We did not. Yeah, we did not catch that. That was an early miss from Canali.
But, like we know, any miss can swing the score gap.
Yeah, this is still insanely close. Epics, like though, that's a drop halfway through. Not ideal. And now Romania gonna stretch it a little further. And it's another one of these high-pressure situations for both teams now. Both teams are feeling the pressure. Epics will miss yet again. And now Romania still holding on here. Okinamo and Justice are there, though.
3 SS's still out there halfway through this map. Eternum, Camo, and Dustite. All
goodness. A third of the map left. Another big win.
I mean, at this point, it's up to Romania. Germany has no say in it if Romania keeps their combo.
Yeah. And Germany have to hold on for dear life if they want to even capitalize off of anything.
Ooh, lots of big act drops on that stream.
But the combos are being maintained, and that's what's important right now, especially if you're Romania.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're like Badu.
Rolly is gonna miss though. There's a miss from Romania. That's gonna kind of even things out, but again, not a lot of time.
There is very little time, but if they drop once more right here near the end, it could be.
Oh, any drops are going to be punished so hard, regardless of who misses them. Badu
goes down.
Badu, he slips up.
Is there time?
Germany trying to stay alive. Could we see it?
No. Oh God, it swung. It's there.
Swung.
Oh God.
What's by 5K? Germany have done it.
Oh my God.
By 5K, Germany force a tiebreak.
What?
Oh, heartbreak for Romania. They were just a couple more notes away from history. Germany able to come up and deny them at the brink and stay alive.
Okay, it's official. I've been teleported to the Amazon rainforest. My entire shirt is soaked. I am sweaty. I am nervous. It's tiebreaker time. Reset my refrain.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the 2020 OS World Cup semifinals. Dolan here, joined by T1G for Brazil, Taiwan.
What is up? How's it going? How are we doing today? Glad to be here.
Awesome, awesome. 3 matches already in the books in the losers bracket, and 1 more to go. Brazil and Taiwan are going to do battle for that last spot in the next loser bracket round.
Yeah, and it is a date with none other than South Korea on the line, who just won, of course, over Russia in pretty dominant fashion. The trend of today seems to be you either get dominated or it goes the distance. China, Indonesia going to the tiebreaker. I hope we get to see another one of those, because Brazil and Taiwan are 2 very closely matched teams on paper, both looking to make that next step, you know, kind of perennial top 8 semifinals weekend participants, but both looking to move on a little farther, try to reach to maybe that top 4 that they could be hyped up for in that next week of matches. Everybody'd like to win this one, move on another round, and I think this is going to be a fantastic matchup today that we get to see, and I am hoping that it proves as enjoyable and exciting as that China-Indonesia match did.
Yeah, currently a lot on the line here in this losers bracket. Right now, these 2 teams are currently in top 12. The winner will get to play South Korea, which would guarantee them top 8. But it's all about that finals week. Everyone's trying to make it through the losers bracket to grab one of the last 2 spots open.
Yeah, and for these 2 teams, I think that it's really meaningful. You've got a lot of players in these rosters who have been trying year after year to make that next leap into that top 8 spot, and who are definitely more than capable of it. You know, you've got guys like Mausizi for Brazil, you've got GFMRT, Riser, Shield on Taiwan, a lot of really strong players who, you know, are just trying to go that little bit farther here. And I think this matchup, you know, it's 2 teams that, looking over their performances in past rounds, are likely to be just incredibly closely matched. They've got some very different skill sets in certain areas. They've got some similar skill sets in other areas. So I think it's going to be fascinating to see what they end up doing with their ban phase, especially. I think Brazil, you know, maybe trending a little into the awkward maps, whereas Taiwan will want to trend maybe a little more toward the mechanics type of stuff. But I think it's going to be great to see. You know, it's our 4th match already on this pool, so trying to see some trends here, and trying to see if we get, you know, some of those popular picks. We've seen, I think, a fair amount of DT from some rosters, for instance, and so I'm very excited. I really want to know what these teams are going to do because I think their strategies are a little bit up in the air for how they want to play this match out if they've been looking at how they match up against each other.
Well, Brazil is going to be up to ban first out of the map pool. We'll see where they go with that. But you also when you also look at Brazil and Taiwan, you think two teams that are very experienced in World Cup history. You think two teams that have veteran players every year and always have some new blood stepping up. So should be an exciting match.
Yeah, you've kind of got this core for these rosters. Brazil with guys with, like I said, Mauzizi, joined by Nissan and Mistia, Korean Maluko, guys who've been around the scene. Taiwan, likewise, the players that I mentioned before. But both teams, like you said, bringing in some new blood. You've got Tusk and Dada for Brazil coming in this year. You've got Taiwan, with guys like Spinesight and Yunha this year, who are looking to make a name for themselves, kind of a little bit more referred to sometimes as fill players, but that does not make them any less important than their teammates. Those guys come in and make for a very important role on the team, whether it's guys like Dada coming in for those tricky hidden maps, or whether it's guys like Spinesight coming in to just combo game the world on things like Nomad 6s. The new blood can be every bit as important as the existing members who've been around for 5-6 OWCs in the past. And I think that's going to play into their strategy. I think they're going to be strategizing around those guys because they want to make sure that they have the best time possible with both their carry players and their more kind of fill players for those tricky spots.
Yeah, and Brazil with their first ban are actually going to go with Hard Rock 1. That doesn't, that's not too big of a surprise, just considering Taiwan's skill on Hard Rock.
Yeah, Taiwan, of course, played Hard Rock 1 in both of their matches last week against Chile and then against France in those losers bracket matches. Obviously, certain players on that roster known as those mechanics players in the Hard Rock and AIM, guys like Riser you see at the top of all kinds of leaderboards, and other members on their team like Shield and GFMRT, obviously really good at just making sure they hit notes. I know it sounds really silly, but like on AIM maps, you just have to have that aim consistency down. And they've got some players who are really good at that. So, yeah, I think, like I said, Brazil probably going to try to poke away at the more mechanics-based maps because I think that's where Taiwan might find some of their greatest strength. Very interested to see what Taiwan comes out with the bans on here. They did end up having, like, a total of, I think, 5 common maps last week, and Brazil won 4 of those. So, with a couple of them being very different skill sets, and a couple of them being speed maps, a couple of them being more awkward maps. For instance, Brazil won pretty heavily on like last week's Nomad 6 in comparison between the two. They also won pretty heavily on last week's Air 8 Hidden.
Ooh.
But it's going to be an interesting pair of bans. So they're going double speed ban here for Taiwan.
Yeah, Nomad 5 and DT3 are the bans from Taiwan. So a double speed ban, as you said.
Taiwan got better at speed in their second match last week. They brought Sheena Noriko in, who is a very solid speed player, and so they did a little better on those maps. But I think you definitely have to be afraid of Brazil in that particular skill set. And likewise, Brazil, I think, afraid of Taiwan in certain areas of like tech type of maps with that Nomad 4 ban. Maybe something that they're just not perfectly comfortable with because that's less of a mechanics map, more of that kind of reading and slider velocity type. But I think bans mostly making sense there. The Hard Rock one was a pretty obvious one from Brazil, and then speed from Taiwan. The only one that I question a little bit is Nomad 4, but that might have just been a personal thing where they didn't perform super well on that map.
And now they will have the pick. So Hidden is going to be completely open. Free mod completely open.
And Double Time 2 going to be the first pick. So our lowest approach rate of the DTs, but also the middle BPM, right? Childish Killer. It's a 3-minute long, pretty combo heavy Yaspo DT map. An interesting place to start this one off. I don't know that I would have expected DT2, maybe the Double Time 4. But you see a team double ban speed against you, it doesn't make it kind of gives you a
little
first pick of DT.
Little hint there, speed.
And Brazil looked very good. Despite their loss against the United States last week, that was a matchup that nobody was going to really win the way the United States performed. I think they were pretty unstoppable on that day. And they did end up playing a couple of DTs and putting up pretty decent scores on them. Brazil's obviously a team with guys like Mauzizi, like Nissan, who are really good at double time. Is a team that is expected to, I think, pick into the skill set against Taiwan.
Now the only question that remains is who will step in on each side to play it.
Yeah, I would think, Nissan Mouse Easy probably going to be joined by maybe Mistia, and I don't actually know who to expect as the fourth, maybe just Korean Maliko. Taiwan looks pretty set here. It looks like Riser, Yunha, Shield, and Zane. Yunha's been one of their less utilized players, and he's had kind of his up and down moments in the maps that he has been in for on the Taiwan side. So getting him in on map number 1 of this match is very interesting, kind of dipping his toes into the water early on here. We'll have to see how he performs, because he's kind of a fill player for a skill set that Taiwan isn't as great at with kind of the speed and streamy type of maps. So that's an important kind of keystone for them. Their other players are pretty much guaranteed to do well. But Yunha and Tusk, the fill players, I think a little bit for this map. We'll see how they do. It might be a little concern that a guy like Tusk, who's a lower ranked player, might be outscaled at this point, but he's going to be out to prove that that's not the case.
Well, there he goes. Oh.
Maybe.
He just wanted to be in that bottom left-hand corner.
Yeah, he just wants to be in their
no.
slot. He just wants to be in slot 3. It's his comfy spot on that.
And did you see his roll?
Oh, nice.
Oh. Smooth roll.
I wonder if
add C, for sure.
Were he and Sanjulith like rolling to see who was going to play, and he rolled higher, so he's playing? Because you'll note Sanjulith was in to do that roll and is not in to play.
Could be. Who knows?
We're going to get going here at any rate, so we'll find out how that roll ends up working out for him, if it's a harbinger of good things to come. Brazil-Taiwan, map number 1. A lot online, as you said, in this match, so very excited to see how this one plays out, getting started.
Yep, and it's finally going to get underway with a little panic button clickaroo. The start command goes in from the referee, and away we go on double time.
You always wonder with DT starts, hopefully everybody's really, really warmed up in the match. It's a tough place to start if you're not perfectly ready to go. But I think all these players, with a match as big as this one on the line, will have been prepared and will be ready for this match. Yeah. So we did get the very early break from Yunha. He'll be traded back by Mistia.
Yeah, Mistia will find that miss and trade it, as you said. So Taiwan will be pulling it back for now.
And this one's relatively long. This DT pool is actually, in terms of double time pools, fairly long. I mean, the average map length in this DT pool is almost 3 minutes, which is a little longer than what we're used to seeing. But, makes for a little bit more of a consistency-based pool, in addition to the skill sets already being tested, whether it's your aim or whether it's your raw speed. And you see these streams starting to come in. This is what Brazil wanted to start off on, were these longer stamina-based streams and finger control patterns. And everybody looking pretty comfortable. There is that early miss from Tusk, though, as well. So Taiwan going to take that lead.
Yeah, now 3 FCs to 2 in favor of Taiwan.
And Mouse Easy is going to go as well. Taiwan's going to build a huge lead here in this first third.
Yeah, now it's all on Taiwan right now. Riser, Shield, and Zane just trying to put this out of reach, and we're not even at the halfway point.
Yeah, already over 100,000 point lead just about for Taiwan. Those early breaks not doing well. That's really going to cost Brazil a lot of combos. We're already halfway through, and they've got 2 very low combos. And there goes Nissan as well. Boy, this is not the start Brazil wanted at all for their first pick.
This is falling apart pretty quickly here for Brazil, as Nissan also gives it up once again. Riser, Shield, and Zane just crushing it right now. Combo gaming.
And honestly, I mean, yeah, their AC is a little bit lower, but Brazil's is not that great either, so it's not even like all that different in that regard. It's just Taiwan holding combo better and accuracy as well through some kind of awkward aim in those longer streams in that chorus. It's the type of map that requires a few different skill sets. As a just miss on nothing comes in from Tusk. I'm not sure what happened there, but Mistia is about all they've got left to lean on. Taiwan is just going to run away with this one, though.
Yeah, with only a quarter of the map left and this score gap, it's basically almost impossible, still with Taiwan holding 3 FCs.
You almost wonder if it was a little bit of a bait from Taiwan. They say, hey, we're going to double ban a couple of speed maps and make you guys think that that's an optimal skill set for you to pick into, and then we're going to show up and just 3-way this like it's nothing. I mean, this is very casual stuff from Taiwan here. Just looking like they're out for a friendly little Saturday afternoon multi with the boys.
Friendly Saturday multi with the boys.
Yunha does finally break at the end, as does Riser, but I I mean, it's just not going to matter at this point.
Yeah.
It's insane bringing in the double FC, it looks like here.
That's going to be 2 FCs to 0 on the side of Brazil. And that is the opening break point for Taiwan. Strong start for them.
You know, 1.5 million point margin of victory. I mean, that was, you can't even like try to claim that was close, because that was absolutely the most one-sided starting that Taiwan could have hoped for. Really very impressive play from them. Brazil, they have their own first pick. You hate to see that happen on a team's own first pick. That is not what you like. And the whole team really just, I think, underperforming across the board on that. Maybe a little bit of nerves, maybe a little not quite prepped, but all credit to Taiwan for, you know, the double FC. Hard to argue against that, especially with the backing scores from Yunha and Reiser. Now, of course, they get their own pick early on here. With a break point in their back pocket, just got to consolidate that, and then they can kind of slow roll things the rest of the way if they want. And they're going to pick whatever they feel advantaged on and just have a nice little lead.
Yeah, it's very important, though, for Taiwan to convert this next pick to fully take advantage of that break point.
Yeah, we saw last week, you know, that little bit of back and forth with the break points in, I think, both of their matches, really. They lost their first pick, won Chile's first pick. They won their first pick against France, and then that one went kind of back and forth a little bit as well in the mid stages. So one thing that's been a little concerning maybe about Taiwan is, you know, kind of how consistent they can be and whether they can hold on to leads. So we'll see if they can put together another performance as good as that first map to run out to that 2-0 and consolidate that break point. It's so important early on, especially as longer fast times. Love playing from in front.
You have to wonder if they're eyeing up Hard Rock, but at the same time, they have to be careful because it could be a misstep, because Brazil isn't a slouch on Hard Rock either.
Yeah, you know, Brazil did not play any Hard Rock maps against the United States last week, so, you know, not a lot to compare against these two teams. And Taiwan's going to go with one of the most difficult maps in the pool instead. They're going to go Nomad 3 Otoshimae, which is, of course, our alt pick by Moth this week. This is a very, very hard map, and I think that's a good thing for Taiwan, because I think their skill set on this is a little bit higher than Brazil on this particular kind of map.
Yeah, and also even, you know, just because it's a more difficult map, it means both teams are going to struggle a little more. If Taiwan are betting that, you know, they're going to outperform Brazil in this map, as long as they come away with the point, it doesn't matter, even if it's a coin flip per se. But I'm sure if Taiwan are picking this, they have some amount of confidence in it. And we see Spine's Knight, Flask, GFMRT come in.
Yeah, Taiwan, I believe the last map of their match last week against Chile, they played the Nomad 3 there, and they did end up with a double FC on it. That was Reiser, or no, they almost ended up with a double FC on it. Let me see here. Yeah, it was Flask and GFMRT. Sorry, I looked at the wrong map. But they had Flask and GFMRT double FCing the alt map last week. Backed up by Spine's Knight and Shield with very solid scores. And I think they're just going to look for that again this week, because those are some very, very good alt map players. It's that flow aim skill set and some very tricky patterning in this particular one that I think is something that they feel very comfortable with.
And it will be Shield stepping in to round out the roster for Taiwan. Brazil awaiting one more, and it will be Dada.
Yeah, and this is a little bit maybe of a concern for me looking at this Brazil roster. They're playing their two new players with Husk and Dada both in on the same map, and I'm very curious to see how those two will do on a pool as relatively difficult as this. I mean, semifinals in OWC, this is no pushover, any of these maps. And we saw, you know, not the greatest performance from a couple players on Brazil in that first map. So, you know, maybe bring in Dada, see what he can do on this one, but I think definitely Taiwan favor this pick.
We'll have to see, and you never know. Sometimes a few players, it just takes a couple maps for them to really sink into the match and kind of come alive. So we'll have to see if that's just the case for Brazil, but Taiwan going with the alt map.
Yep, trying to hit the ground running here with their own first pick, but this is a very, very difficult Nomad 3. You can miss pretty much anywhere. You know, in any No Mod 3 that feels like the case, but this one the spacing is just really tricky. A lot of patterns that are very hard.
That's
to
already
consistent
3 misses on Taiwan's side to 1 on Brazil at the start. So Brazil have 3 FCs to Taiwan's only 1. Shield and Mystia.
And you're just going to see more and more of these crazy spacing patterns that people will break on, you know, like you just said, Mystia and Shield both finding misses. Tusk Mouse Easy both holding combos against GFMRT, Spines Knight, Flask. It's a little bit of a combo lead for Taiwan, but it's very, very close with that double FC holding things together for Brazil.
Yeah, and Spines Knight had a very, very early miss, so he's basically good for an FC right now.
There goes Tusk. That was one of the 2 FCs, but GFMRT trades it right back, as does Spines Knight. Oh, goodness. Ooh. Well, yeah, and there goes Dada, too. Like I said, you can seriously miss literally at any point in this map, and it's just not a surprise because the patterns are so hard.
It's Mouse Easy doing the heavy lifting. The only FC left in the lobby, and his highest supporting combo is going to be Mystia at around 400. Flask, though, up to 500 with Shield at 400, but Mystia will drop, so now Taiwan will have a shot to pull it back.
Yeah, Mystia just, I mean, the slow section, some awkward rhythm, but, and there goes Mouse Easy as well, so the big combo now gone from Brazil. It is basically just Flask, 650 combo, and GFMRT at 250. It's a misfest, it really is, but that combo being held shaky from Flask, but it's being held. Pulling that gap back, it's going to flip over here in just a second for Taiwan, and we'll see if they can run with it.
Flask pulling it back for Taiwan. He will give it up right as Taiwan gets that score lead, though. GFMRT will go to work to try to preserve it, and no one on Brazil's side actually really has any significant combo to fight this, so Brazil will pull it back slowly, but with that miss from GFMRT, Brazil now will have a shot to further cement the lead.
This was such a tricky selection, and you just never know what's going to happen in terms of performance within the actual map. Still have the last quarter to come. Mouse Easy Dada with those combos. Not anymore. Dada breaking. I think this can be brought back by Taiwan, especially with that miss from Tusk.
That's
it's
a triple miss from Brazil.
Mouse Easy playing that anchor role for Brazil, but it's just not going to be enough at this rate. Those combos from Taiwan growing, and Brazil kind of falling apart a little bit here. Dada and Tusk having a lot of trouble in this last moment.
Shield, Spines Knight, and Flask really came up with the 400 combos. They were basically negating Mouse Easy and then some, so Spines Knight even right now is fending off Mouse Easy, and Flask is doing the real damage with this 480 combo.
Yeah, Flask only 100 combo behind Mouse Easy, has very similar accuracy. Spines Knight obviously struggling on the act, but that combo is what's keeping his score relevant, and Taiwan is just going to take this in the last chorus. That was such an important combo from those 3 members in that last third, just to run away with enough of a lead to take the point. That was very tense, though, through much of it.
Taiwan just had more players who were able to consistently combo that round than Brazil. You see, Dada, he really struggled there, but you notice Spines Knight, Shield, GFMRT, all having around similar scores, and Flask really stepping up to help counter that brilliant score from Mouse Easy.
Yep, that 526k versus 556k, and just a little bit higher scores on the other players for Taiwan. That was, I mean, only 100,000 points, but you take the win no matter how big or small it may be if you are Taiwan on your own first pick on a map like that, where the misses came frequently. Now it's that 2-0 lead. They have that little bit of cushion. Brazil has to pick from a 2-0 deficit to try and get the first point on the board here.
Yeah, and now this is when the early pressure is really mounting on Brazil. That's why it was so important for Taiwan to convert that, their first pick, and go up 2-0, because they got that break point. Now they've got some breathing room, and now Brazil are going to kind of be backed into a wall here. The pressure's on them to get their first point on the board.
And it becomes tricky to come up with a great pick here, because if you know that you first picked, you know, that double time, that relatively speed-heavy, stream-heavy map, and it didn't work out, maybe that limits a couple of your other picks that you might have had in mind. So Brazil might have to attack this with a little bit of a different strategy. You mentioned before maybe the hidden pool being completely open through the bans, and they are going to go with hidden too. So we're going to get our low AR hidden early on in this one. And I think we know how good Brazil can be at this. This was one of the 2 points that they took off of the United States, the powerhouse of this tournament. Brazil got a point against them on the AR 8 hidden last round. We know they've got players who are very good in this skill set. This is, if you're going to go anywhere to switch things up, this makes sense.
I think one of the beauties of watching this matchup in particular between Brazil and Taiwan is when you see the way these teams make their picks, how they make their bans, you can immediately tell that these are veteran squads that know exactly what they're doing. You see Brazil, they go down 2-0, what do? They immediately shift up the whole match and go with hidden 2. Gotta change it up, get a point on the board, that's what it's all about.
It's 3 very different maps that we'll be seeing, and like you said, Brazil wanting to change that skill set and find something that maybe advantages them just a little bit more, gonna bank on their reading. This is AR 8.5 instead of AR 8, but made up for with some very tricky patterning, and of course being unhidden. This is like the Nissan playground, known for, interestingly enough, known for both speed and known for his low AR reading. Came in FC'd last week's Hidden 2. Gonna try to do the same thing here this week. Taiwan, though, no slouches. I mean, you can't say that they aren't at least decent on almost every pick in the pool, but maybe not quite as strong on this one. We'll see who they bring in for this. They have Shiina Noriko. He does come in. That is a very strong player on the low ARs for Taiwan. Dada looks like he'll be coming in for Brazil, so kind of specialty players in for this one. You've got kind of that core for both teams, but then shifting it around a bit for maps like this. Puts a lot of stress on some of those players. I was talking about before how you have some of these newer players coming in for some of these picks, and it's interesting to see how they end up performing. Tusk and Dada in for another map here for Brazil, and this time it's on their own pick. They need to get on the board here because they do not want to fall behind that double break point early on. This is very important, despite it being so early in the match.
And for Taiwan, this presents a brilliant opportunity. If they are able to take this break point and get their next pick, going up 4-0 will put a tremendous amount of pressure on Brazil. So Brazil trying to do everything they can to stop that momentum here with this AR 8.5 hidden pick.
Yep, this is an attempt to stop the bleeding. And it is on a very tricky, again, map. A lot of these maps very technically challenging in terms of your reading, in terms of your cursor movement, whether it's the linear jumps or stacked patterns. There's a lot to unpack in this particular pick, and you can see breaks a lot of places early on already from Mischief and Spinestein at the very beginning, as well as GFRT Dada after that.
Yeah, Shiina Noriko also found a very early miss, but he is comboed since then. As Tusk drops, it's only Nissan for Brazil against Shiina Noriko and Flask. So Taiwan are going to start pulling that back, but Flask does drop, so now Brazil have a chance here with Nissan out in front. Shiina Noriko chasing him desperately.
And Nissan is like the last player you have to worry about on a map like this. He is rock solid on these picks week in and week out. Although he does find a break, it's traded with Shiina Noriko, so not going to be the end of the world. Mischief building up some combo behind him alongside Spine's Knight for Taiwan. That act from Nissan, despite the break, shows how comfortable he is with this type of pick. Hopefully he can recoup that combo a little bit here going forward. This one's going to stay pretty tight, but Brazil with that little bit of a lead.
And Shiina Noriko dropping again. But GFMRT and Spine's Knight now building up some combos here for Taiwan, but Tusk and Mistia doing the work for Brazil.
And you have this little bit of a slow section, able to build up some combo. You can see where that reading difficulty comes into play, those kind of back and forth overlapping patterns and some of these streams on the lower AR. Very tricky both to read and to aim properly. A lot of linear aim patterns like you would come to expect from IO Exception, the mapper. Find a break from Nissan and Spine's Knight, but Brazil still with a nice combo on 3 of their players, going to maintain that advantage.
Yeah, and now Dada is really starting to build his combo and put in the work, as Nissan is now the one struggling, but fortunately for him, his teammates all have his back.
It figures that the person I mentioned as being so good at this is the one that's struggling, but like you said, Brazil holding on with Nissan struggling a little bit, but Tusk finds a break into another slower section here. There is a lot of combo on Taiwan. They can try to pull this back. There is enough time, and that would be incredibly demoralizing if they manage to do so. There is the break from Spine's Knight, though. This could end up being very close. You've got a lot of combo, but that big combo on Mischief is really important for Brazil here if he can hold on.
Yeah, it's all in Brazil right now and how they handle the last sections of this map. But as Dada and Mischief both find misses, and now you see that score bar, it's starting to creep.
Oh, but there goes GFRT and Spine's Knight.
That is definitely going to stifle their momentum. Shiina Noriko is all Taiwan has, but there he goes.
Boy, if they could have held on, but Brazil, yeah.
Tusk able to hold on with a 3-digit combo, 300 combo, and Brazil will get their first point on the board. It's 2-1.
Wait, and I don't know, how confident they're going to feel coming out of that one. Taiwan just needed a little bit more combo at the end, but you take the W where you can, and, Brazil, even if it was only ended up being by 250k, but it certainly felt a lot closer than that in that last Ki. That score from Mischa is really, really strong, 628k, highest score on the map by about 90,000 points. It was absolutely putting in work.
It was a tug of war there for most of the map, but in the end, Brazil able to run away. They just had the better consistency through the map, just slightly more, consistency than Taiwan, able to build those combos. And we saw that from Taiwan in the second point. They were the ones able to have 3 players consistently building combo. That's what gets them the point. And now Taiwan will try to maintain the 2-point lead with their next pick.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be a lot of what plays into this match over the course of it, is really which team can, prove to be that little bit more consistent through these difficult maps. Things start to be less about who FCs and just who can keep up a better combo. And, we've seen now Taiwan doing it twice, Brazil doing it once. And it's going to be very important, those 600-700 combos in the middle of the map from those important players really can make a difference in the outcomes. Now Brazil has a spot they know that they feel a little bit comfortable about, I think, despite how relatively close it was. That low AR, that awkward kind of map is, I think, the thing that they might look into going forward. But Taiwan is going to go, as you predicted a little earlier, they are going to go into that Hard Rock pool. It is going to be the Hard Rock 2 crossover pick.
And I actually really like how Taiwan is approaching their picks. Sometimes you see teams when they get a point, like Taiwan scoring a point in double time, sometimes you'll see teams just go for double time and try to clean them out of the speed picks. I like what Taiwan's doing here. They're going with Hard Rock. It's a mod they know they're good at, but also you need to test how the other team is performing on a mod on a given day. You need to know how good Brazil are. Worst case scenario, Brazil break this Hard Rock pick. It's tied with Brazil's pick. Taiwan can still combat with the double time.
Yeah, and this is, I think, the better of the 2 Hard Rock picks to go into, because it is a precision aim map, and Taiwan is so good. The 6.5 circle size, something that Taiwan has proven very strong on in previous matches. So this is, I think, a good pick here for them. Though, interestingly, they didn't actually play the Hard Rock 2, I don't think in either match last week, but a skill set that I think they're good with either way. You have guys like Riser and Flask, obviously known for Hard Rock. Yeah,
we'll see Korean Maliko step in for his first appearance of the match in this 4th round.
Yeah, he's been another player for Brazil who has, been a little bit hit or miss at times. He had some very good scores last week. And a couple of the picks against the United States was key to their win on the free mod in that match. And he was their Hard Rock player on that particular pick. Not a lot to go on there, but I will, at least say maybe that means he's going to be solid on these small circles. Sanjulov coming in as well with his first map in this match also.
We need Brazil to win this match so we can have Korea and Maliko play against South Korea.
Yeah, that'd be a fun one to commentate for everyone involved.
I would be. Korea misses for Brazil. Wait, what?
No. It was Korean Maliko. And of course his old name was equally as confusing if he'd played against South Korea last year, because it was My Angel Sim.
Oh, wow.
Angel Sim playing for South Korea. So he's just out to confuse people no matter what if he plays against that team.
Gotta love it. When the name is more than just a name.
We're going to get underway here. CS 6.5, Tusk, Mischa, Sanji with Korean Maliko. New roster for Brazil in this one. Riser, Zane, Flask, and Shield in for Taiwan. A very strong team on these precision aim Hard Rock picks. This one requires a lot of different skill sets. You've got some tricky slider aim. You've got some normal, just straightforward aim. Also the bursts and streams coming in thick and hot. And already several breaks early on.
Yeah, there's several breaks early on both sides. And Taiwan's struggling a fair amount. Only Zane with the full combo for Taiwan, and only Sanji Lift missing for Brazil. Everyone else holding that FC, so Brazil very much in this.
This is the type of map where, again, you can miss very easily just by slight mis-aims. Because some of those patterns are very tight and because the circles are so small, you see several breaks everywhere. Shield Flask, Korean Moloko, Tusk, Sanjilev just right in quick succession. Mischief versus Riser here, the battle of the two combos that are still alive. Taiwan just that small lead.
And Mischief, he's got the bigger combo, but Riser's got the teammates with more combo backing him up, so it's not, the lead really isn't going anywhere right now. Taiwan are just slowly pulling it away, but another miss from Sanjilev and Tusk is really not going to help Brazil. They have no one building combo. Aside from Mischief, Korean Moloko is doing everything he can, but Taiwan now have all their players above 250 combo. Brazil only have one above 250 combo at this moment.
Yeah, and this is like I was saying, you know, it's just who can keep those bigger combos in these middle and last kind of third of the maps. You do see a break from Zayn and Shield, but Korean Moloko with a break and really not a lot going for the other Brazilian combos. It's not the end of the world for them.
If we do see misses from either Riser or Flask here, and if Mischief holds, this could get really close at the end, but unless we see that happen pretty soon, Taiwan's looking good here.
Yeah, it would have to be now or never, and I think it's now basically past the point of no return here unless Riser and Flask both completely flub the ending. This is a great performance from both of them on this pick on a map that really suits their skill sets. This was a great pick, I think, for Taiwan. That score from Riser is really, really solid. Flask backing him up well also, and that's just a solid pick for Taiwan for the 3-1 lead.
And Riser will come in with 900k, helping secure the point. Mistia with a great performance of 949k, the MVP of the lobby, but it will be Taiwan getting the point and going up 3-1. They preserve the 2-point lead.
Yeah, that was a key pick. Very important for them to win that, as you said before, the map, and they went out and just did that. That score from Riser just behind Mistia, and then Flask with the 650k next best in the lobby. I'd like to point out really quick, just as a point of interest, Tusk and Sanjilev separated by 220 points.
That's actually pretty insane.
Didn't end up mattering to the outcome, but that's pretty funny to look at.
If I was Sanjilev, I would hold that over his head for the rest of his life.
Yeah, I remember Hard Rock 2 against Taiwan. Yeah, I remember that 41-6-61.
200 points.
Yeah,
hard carry.
But unfortunately for Brazil, this was not enough. Now, though, the pick does come back to them, and I think, you know, do you maybe look into something like the free mod? You know, you've got like the low AR free mod 2 available.
I think if you're Brazil, you need to consider free mod here because in worst case scenario, if you lose this pick and Taiwan win their next pick, they go up 5-1. So Brazil is guaranteed they're going to get at least one more pick after this in this match. I feel like you need to test that free mod, at least on the map you feel the most comfortable on, at least once, unless you just know that you're going to play well on one of these hidden maps. And that's the thing about where Brazil have been forced in by Taiwan, because Brazil, in theory, you could expand and go to the free mod and test other areas in the pool, but given the margin of error they really have, Taiwan have kind of boxed them in to maybe potentially force them into picking out these last two hiddens. But they will go with free mod 3.
Interesting. So of the free mods, of course, this is the highest BPM by a pretty vast margin. Decisive Battle is a 234 BPM, so maybe returning to that kind of speedier type of map that we felt might be their preferred kind of skill set in this match. This one's quite tricky, though. I guess between free mod 2 and 3, you know, if you want something a little more standard, obviously free mod 3 is going to be a little more player friendly, but I don't know how I feel about the free mod pick necessarily of this one.
Well,
I'm debating this one in my head really at this point.
Either way, I think this is kind of ironic because I think no matter what happens, this map will literally be the decisive battle of the match.
I see what you did there. Yeah, this is, you know, all the points start to feel so important once you get a few picks in the match. Like you were saying before, you know, Taiwan can win a pick, you know, go up 4-0. Now 4-1 would be the case. If they get another break point here, then it just feels really bad. Brazil even more boxed in because they're running out of skill sets to try to test. I suspect they might not feel super comfortable on Nomad 6 because I would have thought about that as a pick. They looked very good on last week's Nomad 6, but this one has had some polarizing feedback, to say the least. So, you know, instead deciding to go for that higher BPM free mod to see hey, you know, let's test the waters. Let's see how our pre-mod players feel. You know, whoever comes in and plays the hidden and the hard rock on it, maybe that'll be stronger. This is such a coin flip to me.
It really is. But for Brazil, if they are able to take this point away, that does keep them in it, and that gives them that breathing room. A 3-2 scoreline is much better than a 4-1.
Yeah, and you know, you're gonna bring in presumably Dada hidden, and maybe, I don't know if it's Nissan or Mistia hard rock, and then on the other side you're probably gonna bring in, if I had to guess, probably Riser hard rock and then GFMRT hidden. I would argue that the mod players for Taiwan are a little stronger on this particular pick, but you know, a lot of these times it comes down to the no-mod players trying to pull in the FCs, so
yeah,
if you put your stars on the no-mod and let them run wild, then that can do a lot for you. And I think we got to restart here because Riser did not have hard rock on, so that per flask, so that is going to be Riser hard rock. Boy, this is going to be a close map, I think.
And apparently Mouse Easy's game also crashed, so...
Alright, well, how's everyone's day going? Hope everybody's doing well. We're having a good time here.
I have to say that this has been one of the most eventful World Cups we've seen.
Yeah, we've seen some
up to this point.
matches. Man, that China-Indonesia match is just the one I'm going to come back to from this weekend, I think, at this rate. That was such an incredible battle from China to pull it back all the way to tiebreaker, and then just the heartbreaking defeat. But Indonesia, man, 20 seeds still alive? Crazy.
Indonesia, this is an insane run from them, and I mean, big ups to them, they deserve it, but a part of me is just so sad because Crystal is literally my favorite OSU player.
Dude, and Crystal just had his hard carry pants on in that match, too. He did everything he could, just put everything on the line. Was unfortunately denied by Skydiver in the tiebreaker, but great performance from him anyway. And now we are back into the map here, so we'll get underway.
Mod 3.
Already on map number 5 of this match, and Brazil's lives kind of hanging in the balance here. If they don't win this pick of their own, they're going to be in a pretty rough spot going forward. We do get the mods as expected. Dada hidden, Mistia hard rock, GFMRT hidden, Riser hard rock. The other 4 on those no mods. Those will be the players you'll look at to ensure some strong combo.
And neither team over-modding here, which I just think, was obvious from the start. I don't think there was any reason for either team to over-mod, but Dada is going to be the first miss. That's the hidden player for Brazil.
He's had a little bit of that struggle, we saw a couple times last week and a couple times so far in this match where he'll have some early breaks and then manage to build up combo through the middle of maps. Maybe that'll be the case here again.
The Apraxia method.
The Apraxia method, man. Dada is the apprentice to that, I suspect. This is such a tricky map with hidden, though. Some of these patterns are very tough to read properly. A lot of perfect stacks, and just a lot of kind of those back and forth. It's what you expect out of Evil, this mapping. And it's what you get here. Dada Mistia both having some trouble early on. Taiwan rolling that 4-way FC through 500 combo, looking very comfortable.
Yeah, but GFMRT will be the first miss for Taiwan, so it's going to stop Taiwan a little bit. Riser will also miss. That's the 2 mod players down.
And there goes Shield as well, so both mod players gone for both teams, but the Shield on no mod FC gone now for Taiwan.
Yeah,
it's going to bring us right back to Brazil.
It's Nissan and Mouse Easy, the no mods, carrying on for Brazil. Shield and Riser will miss yet again, and it's only Flask for Taiwan. So now Brazil in control.
And Brazil just doing the exact same thing they did on their previous pick on the Hidden 2. Although Dada and Mischief both find breaks, but where they had those early misses and built up combo in the middle, they're looking that exact same strategy here again. This map is pretty consistently difficult through almost its entire length. A lot of these tricky patterns, some kind of anti-aim, some would call it, awkward aim, others would call it. Easy to break on stuff, but Mouse Easy and Nissan going strong. Those star players on Nomad making their scores count. Nissan's still on the SS rank, and GFRT Riser both breaking. There's really no combo on the side of Taiwan. Brazil's going to run away with this. Really impressive stuff from all 4 of them.
Yeah, I mean, and if this carries on much longer, we get to a quarter of the map left, and Mouse Easy and Nissan are still FCing. It's going to be virtually impossible for Taiwan to pull this one back.
This is just insanely impressive. Mouse Easy just a few 100s. Nissan's still on the SS. I mean, this is just the playground for some of these no-mod players at a high level. couple more breaks come in for Misty and Dada, but it's really not going to matter because Shield and Riser broke also. And this is just incredible stuff from Brazil. Nissan finally does drop a couple of 100s, but man, the double FC still alive, and Brazil just looking very powerful. The strat is working.
And once again, folks, on semifinals week, a two-way would be pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, from anyone not named, say, the United States, for instance, multiple FCs on any map at this round is really, really impressive. Even if it is no mod on free mod, you cannot take that away from the players because they are putting forth a great effort here. Nissan and Mousy's just looking so comfortable. The cursor's looking completely clean and smooth and under control. No shakes, no nerves, and they're just running with this one.
And coming to the end, they will get the double FC. Brazil take a very important point to make it 3-2.
And that was decisive. 870,000 points, just about. Double FC for Mouseezy and Nissan. 2 100s for Nissan. Really, really strong performance. That was exactly what Brazil needed. Try to get that confidence level up a little bit here as we move into the later stages
and
of this
Taiwan
match.
will instantly shoot their next pick out. No mod 6.
I was about as fast as you'll ever see somebody pick a map, and boy, oh boy, is it an interesting one. This week, as I said, no mod 6, the rhythm pick, you can hear the song. It is a complex rhythm challenge for any player. The finger control this one tests is ridiculous. It is a very tricky one. The patterning and the rhythm changes throughout the map are so hard to learn. Whether you're reading it or whether you actually read it or whether you memorize it is difficult for everyone. This just goes up a level from last week's No Mod 6, and it's going to provide a very fascinating, I think, showcase for these players.
And also this map, just under 2 minutes in length. Very short map.
Yeah, it packs in just over 1,000 combo in that minute 57. But it's a quick one, and there's so many tricky patterns, and so we saw both of these teams playing last week's No Mod 6 a lot. Brazil did have the higher score than either of Taiwan's scores on last week's No Mod 6 by a couple 100,000 points. Going to see if they can continue that, but this one just gets quite a bit harder. Taiwan has those really strong combo players like GFMRT and Spine's Knight that'll come in for this, or maybe not. Like GFMRT at least, I guess I'll cut it off there. But again, I think this is going to be much like many of these picks, a very contested map because both of these teams have players who will be quite strong with it.
And Brazil now are just looking for a break point. That's all they need to get right back into this match.
That's what makes that initial break point on the first pick so important for Taiwan, because they've been able to just have the lead from then on out, from the outset. But this type of map is one that can really go either way, much like some of these other more niche skill sets, So we'll see. No Mod 6 is a controversial pick. And we'll get to see how the players perform on it here as we get underway here.
And Dada says, I'm going ahead, boys.
A little solo performance. Dada, of course, known as a very strong rhythm player, but this map is one that will test your mettle. As you can see, breaks abound. Mischa, Mouseezy, and Korean Malaku all breaking in the intro.
Ooh, that's 3 FCs to now 2 FCs to 1. Taiwan with a 1 FC advantage with Flask and GFMRT over Dada at the moment. Korean will also drop.
And you can just listen to the song and hear why it's so difficult as a map. The way that the concept of this map was executed is so difficult to play well. Between both the aim and the rhythm complexity, it is not a simple one to get it. It's almost like somebody just kind of dropping a piano down some stairs in terms of the song, and it's just mapped like it as well.
Mouseezy will find another miss. Dada and Mischa doing what they can. Mouseezy struggling, but Taiwan now looking very comfortable. As Shield does find a miss, they still have 3 very healthy combos, but as Shina Noriko misses, that's going to open the door for Brazil with Mischa, Korean, and Dada the FC will go along with Korean. Mischa the only one And now Flask is going to negate him with that 600 combo.
And there goes Misty as well. Flask breaking. It's a full combo reset, which really just advantages Taiwan. They built up that early lead. They're going to continue to hold it because there's no combo. Really the highest at Mouse Easy at 200, but Shiina Noriko matching him. And there's the breaks for everyone except Shield. I think this one just ended, actually, with that miss from 7 players.
Yeah, I think with the fact that Shield was able to hold on is really going to secure this point for Taiwan.
And you can see just how hard this map is. That entire first 2/3 of it. The ending is maybe a little less unhinged, but still crazy. It's so hard to keep a combo up anywhere, as you can see. Almost no combos coming into the ending. But
Taiwan will prevail. A fairly close pick there for most of the way, but Shield able to do the work that needed to be done in the end of the map to secure the point for his team. So Taiwan, once again, will hold on to that 2-point lead, and it's up to Brazil once again to respond.
Yeah, and they're, I think, just going to completely block that map out of their minds, because it's one of those picks where you can kind of, you can maybe play it if you're on a good day, and otherwise you can just end up with, B ranks, and we saw 3 of those on that map because it is so hard to be consistent on any of the rhythms and patterns in that pick. So I think Brazil gonna just have to have a little bit of a short memory after that one and say, okay, that was their pick. It was a wonky map. We're gonna move on to something that's a little more favored to us.
Taiwan getting more Bs, but getting the point. It's all about that combo gaming, folks.
Yeah. Despite the 260k from GFRT, it was a lot about the fact that they had Shield and Flask, both 491k, 459k respectively. And Brazil now, of course, with the pick, have won their last couple of selections. Fremod 3, Hidden 2. And the question is, of course, where do they go from there? What is left that feels comfortable to them? As you can see, starting to whittle away at the pool.
Yeah, and this is where it gets dangerous for Brazil, right? Because they weren't able to equalize there, unfortunate. But the pool is going to start to narrow, and it's going to start to get harder and harder for teams to find comfortable points. And Brazil still are in desperate need of a break point from Taiwan.
Yeah, and, the first and most important thing here for Brazil is just winning their own point, is finding something that they're comfortable with on this pick. And they are going to go to the free mod pool again. It is now going to be the free mod 2. So that was kind of the expectation for last pick, and it's going to come in here instead. One selection for Brazil later on. The half/slashed Zune free mod. Those are scary words to hear if you're familiar with any of the above terms, I think.
Half/slashed one of our co-casters. Mapper extraordinaire.
Someone who is known for making maps that are friendly to the mappers and friendly to people who like looking at maps in editor, and a little less friendly to people who actually have to play those maps. This one is absolutely no exception. His style is incredibly complex. It's lower BPM, it's a lower AR, it's smaller circles. There is nothing easy about this one at all. It is saying, come all ye gimmick players and feast upon my delicious feast that I have set up before you.
Half/slashed. He's man, that guy is dedicated to the game. That man with his friend drove from Florida to Texas to attend a Osu land. True story.
God, I remember that actually. Holy cow, was that 2018? That's been a couple years, right?
Yeah, it was 2018. We went to Esports Stadium Arlington.
God, what a throwback. Yeah. He's a guy that's been around the scene in some form or another for a long time. Transition from being a player into being a mapper, has made some pretty well-known, at least to a certain crowd, made some pretty well-known maps that have been seen here and there in tournaments, but also among solo players who like being challenged by things that are very uncomfortable. And now coming into custom map Pro WC and doing much the same thing. So we're going to get to see, I think, an interesting show here. This is one where the mod selection gets even more difficult. Anytime you see these picks with the surface size of, default 4.8, which of course comes out to about 6.25, 6.24 with Hard Rock, the Air 8.3 hidden, it just gets difficult.
Come all ye gimmick players. Have a look at this.
And it's going to be minimal mods, once again, Hidden Tusk, Hard Rock Korean Maloko, Hidden Shiina Noriko, Hard Rock Flask. So a little bit switching it up for both teams. Dada not coming in for this one. Riser not coming in for this one.
But Mouse Easy and Nissan once again taking the Nomads. No surprise there. And we see Spines Knight and GFMRT, the Nomads for Taiwan.
Yeah, these are, kind of who are your best combo players for this low AR on Nomad, who can play this comfortably with the mods. And already the very early break from Spines Knight. We'll see if his comfort level improves over the course of the pick. But again, this is a very important pick here for Brazil. If they lose this, Taiwan has a match point in their favor on their own pick.
Yeah, this is a very important point for Brazil. And right now they have a slight advantage off the miss from Spines Knight, but it's still very early days.
We'll see these patterns, some perfect stacks, some very tricky overlaps, much like some of the others, much
Tusk
like that.
and Mouse Easy.
Oh, double early break here. Not quite a quarter of the way in, but Mouse Easy and Tusk both gone. Advantage Taiwan here for the moment.
Advantage Taiwan for the moment. If they're able to combo just a fair amount, they can set themselves up quite nicely here.
This is looking like a playground for some of these members of Taiwan. The 99.5 AC, 99.5 AC from both GFMRT and Sheena Noriko. Just a bit behind for Flask, but he's on Hard Rock. That's fine. Very impressive stuff so far, but only a third of the way in. There's a lot of time left still.
Yeah, we're right near that halfway point, and this is actually the worst point in the map to miss at that halfway mark, because it immediately yeah, unfortunate he already missed, but doesn't it immediately cap your score at about 650k?
Yeah, give or take. This is absolutely just the score being eliminated, and the accuracy gap is also huge between the teams. You see Tusk at 95, Korean Maliko at 95. Meanwhile, those 97s, 98s from several players on Taiwan. But
GFMRT, that is a double miss from the No-Mod players on Taiwan. So that is going to help out Brazil and give them a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel here. But that score bar, you see it slowly creeping back over to the left-hand side.
Brazil,
with a the map left.
Brazil needs a break from Noriko or from Flask if they want to have a hope here. Korean Maliko, Nissan are matching them. It's a bit of a combo lead for Mouse Easy and Tusk, but that score is coming back slowly.
Yeah,
about a quarter of the map. I think it might be enough time regardless, but it's going to be.
I think it also might come down to accuracy from here on out too, given this current scoreline, because you see the accuracy and how that score bar just shot to the right for a second.
And now it's just coming over quickly though.
Flask did find a lot of hundreds there. Mouse Easy will break, though, and that's really going to hurt Brazil, but Spines Knight trades it. Sheena Noriko and Flask against Nissan and Korean Maliko. Tusk, that supporting combo is making the difference. Pulling it back for Brazil. Sheena will drop, and Brazil, in the end, are going to be able to come through, take it back, and stay in this match.
That is just incredibly impressive stuff from Brazil. Nissan and on Korean Maliko, the double FC, Nomad and Hard Rock, and Tusk with that big backing combo. That was really, really impressive and very, very important from Brazil. Again, pulling that a few misses early and then combo later on strategy with Tusk on that 883 to close it out. Just not quite enough on the Taiwanese side from GFMRT and Spines Knight. Brazil just keeping themselves in this with their own picks.
Oh man, it seems like whichever one of these teams blinks first is going to lose. These teams are putting up an insane match, and now the pressure is back on Taiwan.
Back on their own pick. Still with that lead. They have held a one-map advantage the entire match with that breakpoint on the first pick. But Brazil is making them fight for every inch. And this is, again, just every pick so important.
Do we see Hard Rock 3 here potentially from Taiwan?
I am going to say maybe yes. I think that is a very good pick here for them, and I would not be at all surprised to see either Hard Rock 1, maybe even Free Mod 1, though they did lose both these Free Mods, so I think that goes on the back burner. I think Hard Rock 3, as you said, I think that might be the pick here from Taiwan. They look typically so good at Hard Rock.
Oh man, and this map pool is just shrinking so quickly, so fast. Because for Taiwan, you've got Hard Rock 3, then there's 2 hidden maps left, which I don't know how confident they're going to be on that. And then you've got 2 double times, which Taiwan banned 2 speed maps.
Yeah, and I don't know that anyone wants to touch Nomad 1 or Double Time 1. Those, of course, very straightforward kind of coin flip types of maps, but instead Taiwan is going to go with a DT, though, themselves. It's going to be Double Time 4, the Lossy DT, Phantom Mines. This is one of our 2AR 10.3 picks this week, and it's going to be Taiwan picking it.
Oh, my bad. Actually, didn't Brazil pick the opening DT and lose it?
Yep.
Okay,
But as you said, Taiwan did have the double speed ban, so
yeah.
still correct analysis there.
Yep. And notice that they picked DT4 instead of DT1. I think that's the wise choice here. DT1, a much more straightforward DT map. More likely a coin flip than this one.
Yeah, and as we've seen in some previous matchups, this map can go either way. You can find breaks a lot of different places. Another one of those very tricky. It requires a fair amount of speed. It's only 225 BPM, but the way it's mapped and some of the patterns, you see some doubles, some triples, things like that, make it pretty difficult to hold combo consistently. Lossy kind of known for this style. It's not the most comfortable. A lot of these picks in this pool kind of feeling like that. So Taiwan going for the uncomfortable DT over the comfortable DT. See how it turns out for them. As you said, they won the only DT that's been played so far in this match, so it's something that they've probably been kind of thinking about, had that out of the corner of their eye, keeping it in view, and finally going for it here later on.
Yeah, I think Taiwan is going to save that Hard Rock 3 pick for their very last pick.
Yeah, they may well.
And I don't blame them. They have the lead, and worst case scenario here that happens, right? They lose this pick. Brazil go in on maybe hidden, take the point, and are at match point, and then Taiwan counter with the Hard Rock 3 to try to send it to tiebreaker. I mean, it's still not optimal, but it's not a completely nightmarish scenario for them.
Once you get to this point in the map pool, nothing, I think, feels quite perfectly comfortable. You're not going to be 100% confident, especially when a lot of the maps have been as close as they have been so far in this match. So even with that kind of in mind that, yeah, Hard Rock 3 might be a comfort pick for us to keep around, you still, you have that maybe 1% of doubt that maybe that's not right, because the way that maps have gone are a little unpredictable. But for now, it's going to be the 10.3 DT. It's going to be two teams that are both very strong at this skill set, I think. So this one should be another very contested, much like almost every map. And everybody's favorite tournament client, Korean Malako, is playing. He's still playing Hand Alien. He's running it back.
He says, "Guys, no, we got to play this map. This is the map we won."
This is
What?
this is a panic button. Point. This is a panic button moment.
Panic champ, please.
That is a known glitch with the Osu tournament client. It is one that I have run into here and there in streaming tournaments myself. I don't know what causes it, but it does happen. But we'll get loaded into the proper map and have all 8 players playing the same map. And we'll get underway.
OWC, but every player plays a different map. And client finally synced up now, so we should be good to go. Early miss from Mouse Easy and Shina Noriko. So score's about level, combo's about level. It's all on the accuracy.
Did get the break from Riser, and there have not been any breaks for Brazil. Looks like if there were any, they were fake.
Oh yeah,
fake misses.
We got
fake news.
Baited.
There's a real break though, I believe, from Nissan. So it's gonna kind of equal out. They had a little bit of a lead. But it's gonna be pretty close now. Riser about 50 combo advantage over Nissan, but otherwise all players very similar.
Oh, Nissan will find yet another break, and that is gonna help Taiwan here.
Yeah, they start to build up just a little bit of that combo lead. But Zane finds a break. That's one of their strongest DT players, too. Not somebody you'd like to see miss.
3 FCs to 2 now. Brazil with the advantage. Checking out halfway through.
And Shina Noriko breaks as well. Oh, boy.
And this could be it. This is probably the biggest chance Brazil have had at a break point.
Yeah, they've just got to hold on a little bit longer. They've got 3 FCs. Make that 2 FCs, though, Korean Malako break.
But still with Mouse Easy and Sanji Lift, they're still looking pretty good. Only shield holding combo for Taiwan. So as long as Mouse Easy and Sanji Lift can hold on for just a little longer, Brazil will finally be able to tie this match up.
Oh, Zane and Sanji Lift trading breaks.
And
Mouse Easy versus Shield.
Yeah,
Brazil's fine with that.
That favors Taiwan, that trade. But Shield drops, and now it's all a Mouse Easy. The legend himself.
Yeah, this is, I think, over at this point. It's a almost 400,000 point lead for Brazil. It's going to maybe be pared away a little bit with those combos from Shinoriko and Riser, but with Korean Malco backing up Mouse Easy, that is a break
And
point
it is
at long last.
A tie game, 4-4. We are down to a best of 3 now.
And each team now has 1 pick
And that is
remaining.
a FC from Mouse Easy, over a milli. Korean Malco is not done playing that map.
He's not sure what he's doing today. Yeah, that was such a big play from Mouse Easy though, man.
That's a massive point for Brazil. And now it's not over for Brazil though. They haven't done it yet. They must win this pick. Their next pick now is super crucial because if you drop this, that break point was for nothing.
Yeah, and now you are in a tough spot because I don't think it's Nomad 1.
No.
I don't know if it's DT1. So you've got the 2 hidden picks. Hard Rock 3 is a Taiwan pick, I think.
DT1, it is going to be Econide
okay.
Borderline. And honestly, I don't think that's a terrible pick from Brazil considering that they've played decent on double time. They haven't played terrible. They just must be confident on it.
It's a split 1-1 on the two DTs that have been played. 375K on that one that just ended as the score gap, and obviously 1.5 million. The one map that was truly one-sided so far in this match was that first DT pick. But this is the most straightforward of these DT picks. It is AR 10.3. It is 242 BPM, but other than that, it is as much of a Nomad 1 type of map as you'll ever find in a DT pool.
But I think another thing to note about it is that length. A fairly lengthy DT pick for a DT1 pick. So consistency will be tested here. But as you said, it's pretty straightforward. There's nothing too crazy. It's just going to come down to the consistency.
Yeah, everyone knows, I think, how comfortable those older Rizia maps can be, and this is no exception. So whose nerves hold up the best? Whose consistency is the strongest? Those are the questions for this one.
You know when I said that the decisive battle was the decisive battle? I lied. It's this one.
Yeah, Econide Borderline. Insert a funny pun here. This is the borderline between winning and losing the match. I don't know. Don't blame me for that. I
That's a
couldn't come up with
stretch,
much.
but I'll give you credit for big braiding it there. The borderline.
Yeah, I don't know. It just wasn't there. I tried to make it there, and it wasn't
We're trying,
there.
chat.
So, this is, again, Mouse Easy going to come in, look for the FC. Nissan going to come in, look for the FC, I think. Taiwan's got to pick it up a little bit from that last pick. They had a couple players, especially Zane, who is normally very strong on DTs, underperformed just a bit. So he's, I think, a key role on that roster. And then, of course, the other is going to fill in as best that they can. One pick left apiece. The last selection from Brazil here, 4-4. A lot on the line, as always, but the pressure even higher. It continues to mount more and more.
So Brazil finally able to tie this game up after being behind since the very beginning. If they can convert this DT pick, they'll have their first lead of the match and their first match point.
This is a map where I would honestly not be surprised to see a few FCs. But for Brazil, it's very meaningful, as you said. This would be their first lead of the entire match. They give them the opportunity to at least have one match point, even if it is on their opponent's pick, before the tiebreaker might happen.
Yeah, an early double miss from Taiwan there from Riser and Shinoriko.
Fortunately, I mean, it's 1200 combo, 3 minutes long. Like, there's plenty of time to build back up, but you want to see that comfort early on. You don't want to see the early breaks, because you never know if that means that players are not quite on their game, maybe not quite making it through the nerves. But Brazil, the four-way, holding into the first KI here. As
Yeah,
you can
so
see,
far everyone's
just
looking
in.
comfortable.
Yeah, nobody, well, everybody looking comfortable except for Mouse Easy. That looked like just like an over aim, I think.
Was that client or was that an actual miss?
He has an A rank, so I think that was an actual miss, but there was a little bit of lag at the same time, so we'll see if his combo comes back magically. But I think that was a real miss.
It looks like a real miss. Yeah, that was a legitimate break from Mouse Easy.
It is still the 3FC to 2FC advantage for Brazil, but those two combos behind are pretty big. And there goes the break from Zayn. Right at halfway through, that's going to be, as we said, you know, it's going to cap his score. You lose so many points for missing there. Now down to just one FC and a couple of big combos for Taiwan. Matched, basically, by Brazil.
Yeah, Taiwan are still in this despite that miss from Zayn just because of the combos. It's basically a 3v3. It's slightly in Brazil's advantage. So Taiwan are not out
Riser!
of this.
Riser! Oh no! That is tragic.
That's a tough break right there. And now Brazil are really going to start to check out here with nearly a quarter of the map left.
Oh, and there goes Zayn and Shinonorico. It's over, actually.
It's over, yeah.
That just ended the map.
Lip, Nissan, and Korean Maliko with the combos. Mouse Easy's struggling, but his teammates have his back.
Yeah, this just ended on the backs of the triple FC, still alive from Brazil. Really impressive stuff. I mean, still a couple hundred combo left in the ending, and there are some pretty big jumps, but it just is not going to matter at this point. Brazil with a 500k lead. Nissan finally breaking, but all too little, all too late if you're a Taiwan fan. This is a great performance from Brazil. Remember I said a couple FCs might be possible. Well, at least into the ending, a couple FCs are possible, even if we're seeing these breaks in the last few hundred combo.
And only one remains. Will he bring it home?
Korean Maliko has been so important in this match. He's been playing really, really good Osu.
He has stepped up big this match.
That is
Free
the
mod
FC.
and now with here, this double time FC to give Brazil their first lead of the match. Their first match point. Taiwan now. Their last pick is coming up next, and it will either go to tiebreak or it will end right here.
Yeah, I mean, all credit to Brazil. Down the entire match, finally get the break point and just immediately take advantage of it, hold their own, and get that match point. And it's going to be free mod.
Yeah. And look at Zayn's accuracy. He had 99.49. Just a 2 miss, unfortunate. But Korean Maliko with a 99% FC. Coming in clutch, and free mod 1, as you said, will be Taiwan's last pick. And this is very interesting considering that Taiwan actually have not won a single free mod pick yet. But this is free mod 1.
Yeah, you know, it's a risk. I feel like it's a huge risk. You lose 2 free mods and you go with, you know, kind of the free mod 1, the ult free mod. I don't know if that's, I mean, I would say I don't know if that's the pick, but I mean, right, they did win on Nomad 3 on Otoshimae way back when, at the beginning of this match. So, you know, an hour later, we're seeing another kind of alternating map. Maybe that's what they felt favored them, since it was a pick that they won earlier. A little more comfortable. This is big circles. It's CS 2.6 with Nomad. So instead of having those small circles, you get some big circles to deal with. But boy, I just don't know. When you lose 2 free mods and then you pick a third one, that is a big risk you're taking against a Brazil team that has looked very strong with their free mod roster. I just don't know.
Well, obviously, they have to have a fair amount of confidence in this pick to be picking it as their last pick. I mean, they chose this over Hard Rock 3, and I think that's what the most surprising is to me.
That was really where I expected them to go as well. You know, we've been talking about that map being a possible pick for them for quite some time, and they decided against it, so clearly they'll have a reason. I'm sure they have a reason, but you know, will going to free mod be the play here? I just don't know. And you know, so many of these maps, I say it over and over in this match, so many of these maps have just been very close, very contested. 1 or 2 players missing versus hitting a particular pattern just can be the difference. So
yeah. And Brazil, I love how, man, they have played such a great match so far. They've been down since the very beginning, down by 2 points, At the very end, they're able to claw it back, tie it, take the lead, and now, for the first time, most of the pressure, almost all the pressure really, is going to be on Taiwan. Not Brazil here.
Yeah, and that's an interesting factor because it's really not been something, they've had, relatively speaking, less pressure on them this entire match with that lead, like you said. So how are they going to play with a deficit? We haven't had to see that as of yet. And really, I mean, I think both their matches last week, they were ahead pretty much the entire time as well. Taiwan have been a front-running team. How will they do trying to claw this into a tiebreaker on a very tricky Fremont alt pick?
Well,
we're about to find out.
Round number 10, and we do see a slight overmod from Taiwan in the form of GFMRT, who's going with Hidden and Hard Rock. Shin and Oriko also with Hidden. 2 no mods apiece. Brazil sticking with the minimal modding. But this time it will be Tusk on Hard Rock.
Yeah, I was going to say, Brazil switching up who their mod players actually are here. Tusk, Hard Rock, Mistia, Hidden, Dada alt, no mod, and Mouse Easy, of course, the no mod. No surprise there, but it's, well, it's a tough map, and it's one where you can miss a lot.
Early triple miss from Brazil. Mistia, the only one not missing, and Taiwan holding the quad FC, so they're going to run away with this for now at the start, but Brazil will have presumably some chance to build combo, but that's not how you want to start it.
Yeah, and Taiwan with the lead, knowing that they've got a pretty good score. Any of those players that are holding on to the FCs are going to feel pretty good. Shin and Oriko does find the first break. This is pretty tricky with any mod you choose, even though the circles are larger, technically making it easier with Hard Rock. The patterns and the spacing kind of take away from that a little bit.
I'm looking at GFMRT really closely here because although, he is FCing right now with the double mod, his accuracy is not the best. If he finds a miss, that's going to really hurt Taiwan because he's the one that's earning the most points, but Tusk, yet another miss.
Yeah, this is, kind of one of those KWK style alt maps where the spacing is really pretty big, and you also intersperse some tricky little 1/6 bursts, which just makes the consistency of it a little more difficult, as you're seeing from people breaking just kind of here and there. There's another break from Dada, for instance. The aim is difficult, and boy, those, like you said, those modded players we're watching very closely. That's a break from Plastic created with Dada. Shield and GFMRT, though, still in the double FC. Keeping them out in front of Mouse Easy and Mistia. Mistia still on that hidden FC, but 92 accuracy. That score is pretty big in favor of Taiwan, just between him and the FC players on the other side.
Yeah, Shield and GFMRT are the players that Brazil needs to break right now. But Tusk with the other miss. Mistia and Mouse Easy doing everything they can. But Taiwan are really pouring on the heat now with a 400k lead, and we're getting near the quarter map mark.
And Tusk has been struggling a fair amount. Another break there from him. I think we just need to be prepared now for a tiebreaker, because at this rate, it looks like that's exactly where we're headed, full steam in that direction, because Taiwan looking really good on this pick. Saving it for last, and they're making it count.
Yeah, and GFMRT, despite the accuracy, he is holding the combo, and that's what matters.
As you say that, he does find a break, but it is long enough into it. He's got 675k. That's a great score.
Yeah.
It's ahead of anyone from Brazil by a pretty decent margin, other than Mistia on the FC. So not the end of the world, though a couple breaks at the end come in. Taiwan has just established a big enough lead.
It's nothing that's going to flip this result. Taiwan is going to be able to take this point and send it to tiebreaker.
Just a great performance from several players on this map. Mistia and Shield coming in with the FCs for their teams. GFMRT with that huge hidden Hard Rock score.
Yeah, that was massive from him.
Really important.
And once again, folks, we will go to tiebreak.
And what did I say at the beginning of this match? It's either going to be...
It's either router or TV.
And we're getting it. 2 TVs in one day, man. This is why we play the game. Semifinals round, tiebreakers, man. These teams are so evenly matched, and this is going the distance, and I am thrilled for it.
I have no idea who's going to win this. No idea.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely up in the air between these two squads. They have both looked so good this entire match, and we really haven't seen much all that like this tiebreaker. I mean, you know, we don't have like a Nomad 1 pick so far to go and say, yeah, this team looks better.
Yeah,
than that.
they avoided all of those picks. Aside from DT1, that was the only like generic kind of a simpler map, straightforward map that either of these players picked. So going into this tiebreaker, going into Eternal Dream, AR 9.6, just over 6 minutes in length, up to 208 BPM at a 6.9 star rating.
And man, if we can get half of the show out of these teams that we got out of China and Indonesia, where it came down to the last moments of the last PI to determine the winner. Oh man, and seriously though, both of these teams, just immense props to both of these rosters for this match that we've gotten up to this point. It has been such a battle, and both of them have looked so good.
They have. I think
now it just comes down to
I don't think if you're South Korea, you're not really happy about how these teams have played, because they both played so well, and they both displayed a tremendous amount of mental fortitude, stamina. These players have just stepped up, gotten the job done. Players like Korea and Malico stepped up massive for Brazil. Taiwan able to force the tiebreak here. They'll send in Zane, Shield. But for Brazil, it looks like it is going to be Mouse Easy, Nissan, Korean, Malico, and Nistia.
And we're going to get, I think, just a brief moment. Brazil asking, or Taiwan asking for a quick timeout. They do have that tactical pause.
The tactical timeout. So Taiwan will call the timeout. And no surprise here. Also, Brazil might use theirs too.
Yeah, you need just that moment. Take a deep breath, collect yourself, shake out your hands, maybe run a couple laps around your room just to get out some of those excess nerves out, because you cannot afford any sort of nervous shakes in a tiebreaker in this stage, in this situation.
Also,
got to do anything you
here's
can.
What I want to see.
Here's
what I want to see from Brazil. You know how, like, in American football, how there's that term called icing the kicker, where coaches will call the timeout right before the field goal is snapped. So even if the kicker makes it, it doesn't count and they have to do it again. You think Brazil might use their timeout to try to ice Taiwan?
Man, it just reminds me of that commercial that played incessantly during the playoffs last year, where they're icing the kicker and everybody opened the cans of pop.
Yeah. Everybody at the same time.
Yeah, but it's a little bit of a mental game at this stage, so I could see it using that pause to your advantage to try to psych out the other team just a little bit, before call up whoever your team's version of Adam Vinatieri is to try and kick that 3 seconds left field goal.
Okay.
This is
send in Pat McAfee.
Man. So I guess the question is here, which team is the Chiefs and which team is the 49ers? I think we need
to stop with these NFL references.
Yeah, nobody's going to know what we're talking about, huh?
I'm pretty sure only 500 out of 7,000 people watching may know what we're talking about. I know, though, that Azer and Ignite do, because if you saw the round of 16 prep, very into detail about American football. I was highly impressed.
Yeah, that was a fun video, man. Definitely an enjoyable one. But at long last, the break is over. The pause is over.
There will be no icing from Brazil. We are getting straight into this one.
Fascinated by these lineups. So Brazil, no surprise by any of their players. Mouse Easy, Mistia, Nissan, Korea, and Malka. Those are their, I think, top 4 on any sort of consistency aim-based pick. But Taiwan, Zane, Shield, Riser, Yunha. No GFMRT, no Flask, no Shina Noriko in for this one. That is a big surprise to me. For those have been, I think, some of the strongest players on their roster throughout this entire
I also like looking at this Brazilian lineup. You see Mouse Easy, Mistia, Korea, Malico, and Nissan, 4 players who have played very well today. Brazil will start with an early double miss, but it is the tiebreaker. Very early days.
Yeah, this is a very long tiebreaker, as you mentioned. 6 minutes, 2,500 combo in total, just about, with very tricky map. Everywhere, there's just there's jumps, there's streams. I mean, this is the epitome of this kind of stage's tiebreaker. And you see some breaks already early on for both teams, maybe trying to get those nerves just out of the way. Yunha with breaks, Zayn, Mauseezy, and Nissan, as well as Korean Malako. So it's going to start off a little bit tense here, but with double FC and Taiwan, make that singles.
Shield will drop, so now only one FC standing on each side. Missia for Brazil, Riser for Taiwan. The supporting combos from Brazil are also there with Nissan and Korean Malako for Brazil. Unha is trying to get there for Taiwan, but Brazil will be able to pull it back for now.
And, man, depending on what happens, oh my gosh, that's a break on almost nothing from Mischief. That's that one FC gone from Brazil.
Yeah, and now it's on Riser.
Riser backed up by Yunha and Shield. We'll see how long those combos can last. We've got a lot of map ahead of us. Got to strap in here for the long run. A lot of combo on both sides being built up.
That score bar is not moving at all. Look at that.
It's dead even.
It's dead.
Absolutely dead even.
Oh.
Nearly identical combos across the board in total. There's a break from Yunha that's going to help out Brazil just a little bit.
Yeah, that break from Yunha will help Brazil just a tad. And now that score bar starting to creep over to the left side. A third of the way through, though. Still plenty of time for Taiwan to get back in it. But it is Korean Malako and Nissan with Mauseezy putting up some impressive combos. But Riser still rocking the FC. Zayn will drop, though. And that's going to hurt Taiwan.
You know, we saw in the previous tiebreaker that this map is truly not over until the last note is hit, because there is plenty of time to come back, no matter how far down you are, no matter what the scores may look like. If you're either of these teams, you just got to try to keep your breathing under control, keep that cursor under control, because there is so much combo and there is so much time. But those big 1,000 plus combos from Brazil are going to start to do work here. Korean Malako and Nissan. And there's a break from Shield. That was the second largest combo from Taiwan gone.
Does give it up. And now two 1K combos for Brazil. Only one 1K combo for Taiwan. Riser doing everything he can, but now it might start to get pretty hairy here for Taiwan if none of these other players are able to build combos. Because Nissan and Korean Malako are trying to put this out of reach.
Zayn is just struggling a little bit here, and Riser is the only thing they've really got going for him. Yunha several hundred combo behind. This is going to get out of hand in actually a hurry as we start to get into the middle third into that last quarter of this map, because those combos are so big and nearly unmatched from Brazil. However, there is a break from Mistia. There is still life. Oh, Korean Malako just broke on the slow section. This is huge.
That is one down, and that is going to massively help Taiwan.
Yunha has gone as well. And we're going to get into the streams. Watch Nissan is down. In the streams.
Nissan is down. Now Brazil have basically nothing, and it's all on Riser. 1,600 combo. Can he do it?
Riser is still going. He made it through the first set of streams. There is more to come, but he's got such a big lead over everyone now.
It's all on him. He has to at least do enough work to get that score difference within reach for Taiwan. As long as he can hold on long enough to do that, he's going to give him a shot. And he's going to put this poor lead, Riser.
Riser! What a performance he's putting on. He finally breaks, so does Shield, but there's really a combo reset everywhere.
Right as the score flips, it's dead even again. Are you kidding me, Riser?
This is going to once again come down to that last chorus of this song. This is going to be so close once again.
Who is going home and who is going on to face South Korea? A quarter of the map left to determine the fate of these two teams.
You've got to recover your combo. You've got to do everything you can, because this last Ki is so hard. That's a double miss. Riser and Yunha both resetting, as well as Korean Malako. Brazil with the combo lead, though, pretty severely. Nissan and Mauseezy both pulling up some combo here in this last second.
Trying to do everything they can to negate it, but it's about a 250 combo advantage for Brazil at the moment. But that score lead is not big at all. If we do see the right misses on the Brazilian side, Taiwan can very well take this point. They're not out of it, and here we go. It's time for the ending.
We are going to go into the last Ki with a score gap of maybe 50,000 points. Zayn with a break. Not the end of the world. It is Mauseezy, Nissan, and then the whole of Taiwan has to do everything they can. It is a combo lead for Brazil, but any breaks can still spell doom for them, so they need to keep, and they need to hold on.
But right now, things looking better and better for Brazil. The more we progress, Korean Maliko will find a break. Mouse Easy with a break. Zayn and Shield trading it now. Nissan still holding that combo, keeping Brazil ahead. The 600 combo. Mistia is there with a supporting combo.
Brazil's going to do it. Nissan and Mistia are putting on a freaking clinic here at the end of this map just to keep Brazil in the lead. They're going to run away with the last seconds of this. Nissan, what are you doing? This is incredible at the end.
Despite a brilliant combo from Riser that put Taiwan right back in it, Brazil's consistency is going to shine through on the tiebreak, and Brazil will move on to face South Korea in top 8. Taiwan's World Cup adventure will end here. Heartbreaking fashion, Brazil complete the comeback.
Absolutely astonishing. I mean, what can you say? Brazil, the Nissan combo, the Mistia combo, Riser doing everything he could to keep Taiwan alive, but it just was not quite enough. Korean Maliko, the second biggest combo from Brazil as well. Across the board, just an amazing performance when it absolutely counted the most. 80,000 points, the margin. I mean, that could not have been much closer, but that ending from Brazil just sealing it with two incredible lights out last quarter performances.
And that is going to do it for this round of the losers bracket. Brazil, your big winners. They will move on in the losers bracket to meet South Korea for a spot in finals week.
And that is going to be a match. South Korea, they took that very convincing win over Russia, but man, this Brazil squad looks like they're on a mission, and they're not going to let anything stop them. They are not going to get down, and they are going to keep that mental so strong. Man, we're in for some good losers bracket matches tomorrow, and we've still got 2 more matches today before that.
That's right, the big ones, the winners bracket matches. United States against Germany and Canada against Japan coming up later today. In an hour from now, Canada and Japan. These are matches you cannot miss, chat. You cannot miss them. Set your alarms right now on your phones. I don't care if you're not home. Do it.
You have got to be here. The winner semifinals this year are some of the most stacked that I think we can remember seeing. The obvious 2 heavy tournament favorites, USA versus Germany, but Canada and Japan, 2 teams that have been performing so incredibly well. Absolutely be there or be square. Do not miss those matches.
Well, Brazil didn't end up using their final timeout. No icing of the kicker was needed. He shanked it wide left, just over the top upright. Brazil, what a comeback that was. They were down the whole match. They give up their opening pick, able to convert every other pick, able to get the break point, able to put a lot of pressure on Taiwan, and the consistency in tiebreaker grants them the win.
What more can you say? Just an incredible performance from Brazil. And, condolences to Taiwan. A great performance, a great run, but Brazil was just not going to be stopped today. Amazing.
And unfortunate for Taiwan. Both of their losses this year were heartbreaking tiebreaker losses. One to Canada and now one to Brazil. They have been a part of some phenomenal matches this year, and a top 12 finish is well deserved. It's not a bad finish by any means at all.
No, they can absolutely hold their heads up high. They were defeated by 2 incredibly strong teams in 2 amazing matchups. As you said, 2 tiebreakers, going the distance, losing both of them, but it happens. There's got to be a winner and a loser, and today that was Brazil. Taiwan.
That's why we play the games.
We're glad to see Taiwan every year. Always a team that puts up a great battle, but Brazil, I'm just in awe of their performance on that tiebreaker. So
wowie.
Just great stuff.
Listen, I don't know about you, T1G, but before this epic Canada-Japan match goes down in about an hour, I am going to need to run and grab some OWC food.
Yeah, we gotta take a collective breather, I think, after that one.
And I need my inhaler.
Yeah, maybe go get some air, get your breath back. We're gonna be coming back for Canada versus Japan, 1 hour's time. That one is going to be casted by none other than Monko2K and Half Slashed. So I hope you guys
A great duo. A
come
great
back
duo.
for those. They're gonna put on a fun match for everyone.
Well, everyone, it's been a phenomenal match between Brazil and Taiwan. We thank you for joining us, T1G, as always. Thank you for joining me on the cast, bro.
Yeah, of course. A pleasure to be here. Always an enjoyable cast with you, Mr. Doland. Thank you as well.
My pleasure, my pleasure. And thank you to the viewers who tuned in to see this epic match. We've got 2 great matches coming up later today. Don't miss them. Any final words, T1G?
I think I'm just out of words, man. I cannot wait for the matches later today. I am so excited, and I hope that everyone else is too, and they come back to join us for both of those semifinals in that winner's bracket.
Agreed. Much agreed. Well, everyone, we thank you so much for watching. Brazil taking the win over Taiwan 6-5 in tiebreak. Canada and Japan coming up in an hour. Be there. We will see you on the other side. See you later, chat.